It's another Saturday. It's time to sit around the table and discuss national issues, hoping that we would help you make sense of the big stories of the week. And like I always say, when the stories are big, they make it on the big issue. On 97.3 CTFM and on Channel 1 Television. I am Umaru Sandamado. I'll be your driver, your anchor. And today we have an interesting set of conversation and a great panel to do justice to the issues at play. You're welcome. I'll let you know how to join the conversation with your messages in a jiffy.
Watching DSTV means getting the TV you love, but staying connected means getting something extra. Stunning. Extra matches, extra dramas, the best local and the world's biggest. Extra laughter, music, movies, and extra vim.
I love it.
Just stay connected or reconnect and get upgraded to the next higher package at no extra cost. Charlie, we got you. Keep watching. Get more with DSTV.
You're welcome back. This is a big issue on 97.3 CTFM and on Channel 1 Television. Let me know before I even tell you what the issues are, what your views are on the big issues we're going to discuss. 0543 986 996, 0543 986 996 or 020 444 7033, 0204 447 033. Send us your messages. If you are on Twitter, now known as X, mention my handle at Umaru Sanda or at City973. Do add the hashtag #TheBigIssue, and the world will hear what you think of the stories we are bringing you. This morning, there are three main issues we have on the agenda, and all of them would be of interest to you. Now, we'll be talking about something that has generated lots of debate and discussion. The government's proposal to rename the Kotoka International Airport to the Accra International Airport. Now, is that a political reason, a nationalistic reason, or petty behavior? These are all words that have been bandied about. We'll be asking that question of my panelists this morning. We also have something we'll talk about. The story is told of how a man went to Fernando Po, swallowed cocoa beans, came to Ghana after 3 days, went to this thing and did this thing, and then I don't know if it's a true story or not, but whatever you want to believe, cocoa has become one of our major brands. And today, this week, cocoa has been in the news. The cocoa farmer says the Randiabe-led cocoa board is not paying them their money. Why? We had something called syndicated loan. We simply take loans to pay cocoa farmers. We are like an off-taker. So how come there's a problem? So we'll be talking about cocoa on the discussion this morning. And then Atto is forcing. It's a refrain we heard from last year. It appears Atto is still forcing. Inflation hits 3.8%. Now people were saying that is just mere statistics. It is not reflecting in the pockets. Dennis Miracles Abuaji of the MPP was on the big issue 2 weeks ago, and he said that the government is chalking big successes, but small wins are not seen. So that even if petrol is costing so low, the exchange rate is doing well, inflation is doing so well, people do not feel it, and that they are paying more for ECG and all of that. And that is a point he has made and consistently been making. So today we ask, the 3.8 inflation, what does that even mean to you and I, our pockets? My guests in studio, I'm going to introduce them one by one. To my left is the MPP Member of Parliament for Oforikrom in the Ashanti region, the Honorable Michael Edu. You're welcome.
Thank you, Maru.
How are you doing?
Very well.
How is Dr. Baumia and the MPP doing?
We are doing great. We are in good moments.
You are in good moments?
Yes.
You are part of the people celebration. Oforikrom, how well did you do for Baumia, or you went Kennedy's way?
No. We did Baumia.
You did Baumia?
Yes.
What percentage?
We maintained the votes that we had for him in 2023.
Okay.
We just increased it by 3 votes, so from 608 to 611.
So Baumia all the way?
All the way.
No challenger?
No challenger.
Hey,
yes.
you people, you can do something.
We are united and we want to remain consistent towards 2020.
You are sure that the unity is not it's not artificial?
No, it's not.
It's not artificial.
You see, there's so much calm, so much peace within the party after the election, and everybody can attest to it.
Okay. The person next to the member of parliament is a former member of parliament, and I always say that people die to go to parliament. They struggle, they fight. And then when they go to parliament, they become a Mugabe. They never go until they are uprooted with a bulldozer. The man I'm going to introduce, he went to represent the people of Ododo-Diodio, incidentally the constituency of Kwame Nkrumah when he was in prison. And he decided that Minko Biom, he voluntarily stepped down. And today he's in charge of government bulldozers known as the DRIP, District Road Improvement Project. Honorable Ni Lante van der Poel, you're welcome.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm blessed.
How are our roads? My road is not good, though.
Yeah, we can't do all the roads in a year. So
Well, you have
we're doing
plenty machine, put it on the road, fix the road.
The districts are doing what they can for now because there are challenges. And definitely the roads have been very, very deplorable. They are doing their best. Fixing roads has to do with a lot of money. So within the constraints, they've done what they could. But we're hoping that this year will be better. They could do more.
But what key things would you say DRIP has fixed for us as a country?
One of the key issues people are not averting themselves to is the fact that it has caused a reduction in the amount of money government spends on road rehabilitation. Hitherto, all these small roads in our rural areas will be given on contracts. Huge sums of money will be paid to contractors. But today, because of the equipment, all that assemblies need is the resources to buy diesel, buy latrite, and be able to fix the roads themselves.
So it is solving our problems.
It's solving our problems and reducing the cost of government as far as road infrastructure is concerned.
Are you feeling that in your constituency of Orikrum?
Yes, we are using the DRIP to fix a lot of
Are you people brought DRIP, so you
yes,
attack
you know
it?
Dr. Baum's initiative.
Was it Dr.
It wasn't
Baumia?
Dr.
It
Bamia's
was.
initiative.
He
It wasn't.
initiated it.
It wasn't.
He brought the
He was
idea.
in government, he brought the idea.
I was the ranking member for local government committee.
But he was vice president.
He
He was
brought
in
the
charge
Vice
of
president, but he did it.
He brought the idea. He's now operating it.
He's enjoying it.
He's operating it.
The idea started from John Dramani Mahama in his first government. You know it already.
Oh, how?
You know.
People want to take credit for this
we
one
brought
too.
This is ridiculous.
286 equipment.
This is ridiculous. We
You
didn't
brought
hear
what?
of it.
286 equipment.
When did it pass?
No more.
When you came to
Drip was
government, you sold.
brought. Drip was brought in the
yes,
last.
it was sold to your party people.
No.
Oh,
Please.
Sanda.
No.
Check.
Check.
It's just the name.
We cannot
It's
allow
just
this
the
to
name.
go.
I'm telling you. I was deputy minister for local government.
Drip was a
we
policy.
launched the equipment. The equipment was the one that some of them was the one that Ibrahim used to.
So you gave it to Ibrahim.
Dredge the Odo.
Dredge the Odo.
You
When
gave
we
it
had
to
the
Ibrahim.
But he's saying
But
something.
you gave it to Ibrahim.
No,
So
I'm
go and
saying
ask Ibrahim whether the
engineers
machines
and
are.
planners used to dredge the Odo for free.
You gave it
You
to
remember?
people. You didn't give
No, I
it to
remember
districts.
government gave him, but I didn't know that was.
This
that
was a
okay.
policy
There were
that
there were
was
brand new
planned.
equipment we took from
That
the
government
government.
cannot fix all
What's the
the
name of
roads.
the woman from Tema West?
Toshi.
Yeah, but
It
she's the one
was
who-
planned. No,
Please,
they
please.
used the
Nah, Toshi.
DSCF to fund it.
No.
But then the
Sandra, let me
policy was
correct
that
this.
government cannot fix all the roads. So let's bring drip machines,
bro.
share it to the districts,
Bro.
so that they
Maybe-
use it to fix
maybe
those
you people had
roads.
it. So
he's saying that you
government
have done-
cannot
he's
do. It
saying
was
you
an
have-
intervention.
Let's tell you. Natoshi on her own couldn't have done that. It
So it
was
was a
the
government
committee
policy.
of parliament. The local
Now-
government committee of
now
But
parliament.
the
it's
committee
Parliament.
of parliament
Listen.
is a committee of the
Committee.
speaker. The speaker was
The
put there
a
to
parliamentary
represent.
committee does not implement policies or
Yes,
Let me
it
tell
cannot.
you,
it's the government that brings
They
the
bring
policies.
ideas.
Kenneth Furata was
The
owing us
committee will just scrutinize the
6.2
policy.
billion. Kenneth Furata, as at the time he declared the DDEP, he was owing members of parliament
He is just
and
struggling to give
assemblies
credit where it's
6.2
due.
billion. And so there was no way we could have gotten that money direct from him. Because before then, he had even given Natoshi, what do you call it?
At Get Fund, not Get Fund.
District Assembly Common Fund.
District Assembly Common Fund.
A paper to borrow from the banks because he wasn't in the capacity to give her money. So we decided, committee, Emmanuel Jemfi
But
Who is
government
MP
brought
to
the
agree?
issue to the committee
you-
parliament
you-
for
you- you let's-
scrutiny and
let's-
approval.
It was the
So
committee
that
Let me
does not
introduce-
give-
let me
that
introduce
does
my
not
next-
give
that
the
suggested
committee
to
policy.
the DACF.
Let me introduce my next panelist. He's the president of the Mancron Cocoa Cooperative Farmers Association. His name is Francis Mancron.
Yes.
Where is that?
From Ayeswano.
Ayenswana, okay. Francis Teno.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank
He
you.
was just telling me some stories from my district capital, Dodowa. He was just, I'm like, Dangbe man, there, what are you doing in Cocoa? And then he was just telling me that, no, there are a lot of Dangbe people in Moye.
Ange.
Yo. My next panelist is Stephen Odatefew. He's Odatefew.
Thank you.
Odatefew. I mean, forgive me. My Dangbe is not that
Gashi
good. My
gay,
guy
gashi
is
gay.
not that good.
You are forgiven.
I need to eat aklo. He's you are described as the petitioner for the renaming of the Kotoka International Airport.
Yes, I think among other petitioners that preceded my efforts on the 19th of January when I called a press conference to address the nation on why we had to immediately drop the Kotoka name from our airport because it wasn't a symbol that unified us and it wasn't a symbol that we could be proud of. And I think we've gotten to the point where the leadership of government, led by the president himself, has taken one of the boldest decisions in our history over the past 60 years to drop that Kotoka name, especially as we approach the 60th anniversary of his overthrow.
I'll come back so you tell us more because you are going to lead this conversation. But this week, we also saw the president go to Zambia. And we saw the Zambians go on social media and say that the president was wearing a blouse because he was wearing this beautiful smock. And because of that, this whole week, Ghanaians have been agitated and wearing smokes to show. So it's okay, we have told the story, but what opportunity do you, and I want to just hear from all of you across before we go, what opportunity do you, how do we take advantage of the opportunity that this conversation has given to us? What can we do to sell this national brand? Let me start from you and then we come around.
I think we have our embassies in various countries, represented, of course, and led by the foreign minister. I think part of those KPIs could also include the smoke attire, and making it maybe a Friday wear or for high-level engagements between the embassies and various country folks in the countries where they represent. We could have that being marketed, especially so we don't have these, surprises when people see us in this beautiful attire. So I think it's an issue where the foreign minister can take that step and then institute some sort of a Friday policy, as Kufuor had done, for smoke wearing in various embassies across the world.
My first time to Europe was in Sweden in 2014. I was on the streets of Stockholm walking to look for my hotel. And then someone runs to me, hey, who from Ghana? Hey, Ghana ni. And he came and then he was speaking to me, he was happy. And because I was wearing a smock, so he could easily identify. Like there was nothing else, but if the woman, I could have been from Uganda because I'm black skin, I could be from Kenya. But when he saw the smoke, he could tell that I was from Ghana. I could have been from Somalia or Ethiopia. So I mean, the smoke is a national character. Teno, let me hear from you.
Oh,
What do you think
okay.
we can do with our smoke?
The smoke, as my brother said, is a traditional dress that most of the time we wear, and I think it's a unique dress, so we can promote it so that during national programs and occasions we can wear it so that we use it to market the country.
Ni, you are an
You see,
ambassador.
let me say this. If you remember, even during the days of Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, he tried to make the smoke a national and international attire. He wore it several times on international platforms. Jerry Rawlings went to the UN 3 times wearing smoke. Professor Mills did it once. President Kufuor was much more in the bubu instead of the smoke. And I think significantly, I've seen the former president, Nana Addo, also wore it once when he was involved in this Dagbon issue. There was this yellow one he wore. President Mahama has also worn it. I think that as a people, if our leaders have shown the way as far as branding of these, our cultural heritage is concerned, the smoke is a cultural heritage for us because they said the significance of it is that it's weaving all of us together. You understand? Because it's made of different cloth and different colors together. So I think that, as my brother said, we should all make a conscious effort of dedicating or committing a particular day, event, celebration to smoke. When we do that, then we highlight the brand internationally. we can say that all our foreign missions, for example, on a particular, maybe the first Friday or the last Friday or the first Monday of the month, everybody at the mission, forest missions, trade centers must all wear that attire. You know, I went to the Kennedy Center in the US and also the African Museum wearing smock. Somebody was ready to give me $1,000. That time, because of the weather, I was wearing a long sleeve shirt under it. Somebody was ready to give me $1,000 to remove the smoke, to take the smoke. You understand? That is how people outside our jurisdiction cherish the cloth. So I think the controversy that came was good. It has rather enhanced, and I've seen a young man who said he is leading the campaign to make the smock a national Friday wear. And I think me, all of a sudden, you know me already, I've never worn a suit before. Yeah, I've never worn a suit before.
Maybe you have, but you rarely wear.
The only time I wore a suit was the first time in Parliament when we were going to be sworn in on the 7th of January 2013. On the eve of, that's when I wore them. After that, I decided not to wear.
Why, you thought that they said Parliament, you have to wear a suit?
That is what I was told.
Okay, then you discovered you can wear any other dress. So let's nationalize it. Let's give it a day. We already have Friday as a day of Africa.
You see, the difficulty I have with this country is the fact that we introduce something nicely that we don't sustain it. You remember during President Kufuor's time, there was this idea when Friday where everybody, the ministries, how do we ensure that when such government policies are enacted, people respect it and people go by it? It's like, it gets to a time, but if you go to Senegal, you enter their parliament and see anybody wearing a suit. Everybody is in a bubu, three-piece, beautiful. They go to international occasions the same. Their athletes go to the Olympics the same. The last time, look at our footballers at the World Cup. Look at their appearance. Immaculate. With a smoke. Can we continue that way? And that will enhance the appeal for this. Okay. All that you know, when the foreigners come, they rather buy these things and take it out. Especially the Scandinavians. They like it. Yeah. Even though they come from very cold weather, they like it. Yeah. So, members of Parliament,
yes,
especially.
I want to come to him.
Members of Parliament, they because every day we watch them. Yeah. The international community watch them every day because parliamentary proceedings now is on air and online. So the speaker has done very well. Yeah. The speaker has changed his appearance as far as the speakership is concerned. He's always been wearing one attire or the other, one traditional. He wears his cloth. So I think we should look at it and make a conscious effort.
Honorable, you are the member of Parliament. What do you think? We can't enact a law and say everybody wears fugu.
It could be a regulation.
No, but that also becomes.
It's
I think we should make it voluntary, but make it appealing. That's what I think.
Exactly.
I don't know.
So that's why we instituted the Friday wear. You know, the Friday wear came without legislation, but then over time it has become a conscious thing. Yeah. That almost every Friday everybody is trying to wear a local fabric or one of our traditional attires to work so that it promotes the culture. So I do not think we need to legislate to get it there, but then we have to increase the marketing of our traditional outfits, especially those who produce them. If you know the generation you are in now, they like nice things. So if you make it nice, you brand it well, it will get the market. Aisha Speed came to Ghana and went to Hamamat's village, the Shebata Museum, and look at the kind of branding she's done. Look at the attraction again. So even though on a regular, you might travel to the north and you see Shebata, and you might not think about it, but the branding that Hamamat has done will attract you to go and get from her. In the same vein, our smock, our kente, our other African prints, it needs proper branding. And the dressmakers and tailors, once they are sewing very professional shirts, nice shirts, people will patronize, and you do not need to even institutionalize anything before people patronize. I, for instance, this whole week, I've been wearing African prints the whole week from Monday to Friday. If you check my parliamentary images, you see that I didn't wear any foreign shirt or suit this whole week. I was wearing African print throughout. So there are a lot of people now who are consciously pushing it, and I think that's what we need to support. I will encourage the various embassies to also promote the marketing of our traditional attires in the various countries that they are. Because you see, if you wear smock, if you've traveled outside the country in smock and in shirt, you realize that during winter, it's very convenient because of the weight of the smock. You feel the warmth when you are in it, and it's something that we can even promote to the outside world, the West, and so on, so that during winter people will wear it with maybe a warmer inside and go around
the only problem I have with the smock is when you put it in the luggage, it carries half of the load.
That's the problem.
So now and the kg is
that's the problem.
Sandra, do you know the reason why I will advocate for a sort of regulation in this country? When you want people to do things voluntarily, you don't get a result. Especially when we legislate, it said every Friday, if you work in a government institution, if you work within the public space, you must wear a traditional attire. It becomes, you see, then it also will help in the marketing. It will help in the branding. But when you make it voluntary, people, when you are consciously determined to do it, people will not. Look, there is this Catholic priest. He now preaches in a traditional attire, preaches in kente. You know, the Anglicans, I've seen them now changing is it a sash they put around them? They embed it with a lot of traditional symbols.
Yeah, Adinkra symbols.
Adinkra symbols and all. These are the things we need to do to be able to... Look, how did Senegal achieve it? It's a legislation. You can't enter their state legislature without wearing that.
But the problem is that if we say let's do African print, we'll end up wearing textile that is not produced from Ghana. So is it really African print?
You know, there is difference between African print and traditional wear.
Okay.
People sometimes will miss it. Traditional wear, there are a lot. The kente, the bubu, the fugu, the slit and kaba. And you understand, those are the things we're talking about. Not just any cloth, because it has those African perspective that we say African wear. You may have an African wear, but maybe the way you have even cut it doesn't make it look traditional. Yeah. So we have to look at it, because I've seen those people involved in the fashion industry, modeling. They say they wear the African wear, then they wear something shrolo, you know, with some cuts around it. Those ones are for the the runways,
models,
and the models, the runways, and not really for accentuating our traditional fashionable attractions. So I just want us to look at what do we define. If we say traditional wear, what is traditional wear? So that we can have that difference from people bringing in cloth from China and thinking that they are satisfying that demand.
No more. There's a question that has come before I go to the main discussion on drip. It says, "Dear Sandra, please tell the former MP for Dodo in charge of drip that people of Apollonia need the drip, especially from the police station to the Apollonia town itself. And how can a community access it if they can fuel it? So can the community mobilize, put petrol in?"
Simple. Yes. If you have a problem as far as your road is concerned, go to the assembly. The drip equipments are in custody of the assemblies. We manage it by the assemblies who use them. So if you have a problem, go to the assembly. If that particular road falls within the profile of the assembly within that period, they will easily come and do it. But if you think that the time that assembly has earmarked to tackle that road is too far and you need it urgently and the equipment are available, if you assist the assembly, they will come and fix it for you.
That's the
Yes,
procedure.
members of parliament are supporting the assemblies to fix roads.
Okay. So please go to Joti and then go to Ponkatamanso. Apollonia is Ponkatamanso, I think. So
Yeah.
yes, so go to Ponkatamanso. You can go to Atadeka. They have an assembly there. Let's start with Mr. Odatefio.
Yes.
Why did you think that we had to change the Kotoka International Airport's name? When did this idea come up? Is it ethnical reasons or for reasons of ethnicity, because you're a Ghana, you want to see a Ghana name there, or there's another reason?
Well, I think first of all, in my speech, I actually preferred Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And as a Ghana, Nkrumah is not Ghana. So just to correct that.
He was MP in a Ghana, so
which naturally and clearly associates him.
Very unique.
Of course.
We accept everybody.
accommodated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So of course, it's been incubating for a while. I think as of last year, I'd even visited the home of Dr. Nkrumah in January last year, and I promised I was going to do something, but I didn't know what. I think the idea dawned where I'm a student of history. I have his books. I read it, and then in January it dawned that look, 24th February 2026. It's exactly 60 years since his overthrow. And the very person that overthrew him is the very individual whose name is at the front of our republic, where over 3.4 million passengers every single year, even before they step here, would have been familiarized with his name and would have mentioned his name. And I thought this was an injustice. It didn't really sit well within my conscience, and I felt there will be millions of Ghanaians who also would feel the same. And so I said, the only way I could get the attention of the leadership, because I'm not as connected to be able to call and, make these calls. And I also was looking at the issue of time and the efficacy of what I wanted to communicate. That will be to call a press conference and have the press do that job. And I think they've done a fantastic job. If there's anybody that deserves credit, it's the press and the president. So that's the spirit.
So you
of why
sent a
happened.
petition to who? Asking specifically for what?
So the beauty of it is that I would now label my address as the Grand Petition, because within 2 weeks of actually making that press conference, the president took a decision. So while we were expecting to have the MPP primaries die down so we could present the petition, and then on the Tuesday, the president announced it through the majority leader.
So your petition hadn't even reached the
It
president?
hadn't reached it, but from what I had been informed, the cabinet had met over it.
Okay.
And there was an assurance that over the next few days, something was going to be done about it. I didn't believe it, but when it happened, I was like, what's the need for a petition then? Because the transport minister has heard that call, the president has heard that call, cabinet had met over it, and a decision was taken.
I've heard from the Honorable Alexander Afenyo-Markin. He says that Evers don't have their names on national monuments. Kotoka is one of the few. And now the NDC wants to take away that from the Evers.
Yeah.
As someone who wanted that name change, what's your response?
I think it's almost like saying the Ghans have never had a constitutional president, and so we better make sure we find one now. Or it's also the same as saying, what about the Frafres? What about the Gunjas? What about other ethnic groups that could also file the same complaint? And so it's not an issue of ethnicity. It's an issue of what unites us as a country. And I think even at the time when Dr. Nkrumah won the 56 elections, he was still very popular, even up to the point where he was overthrown. Because the whole idea of the overthrow was founded on deception. The soldiers who marched to lead that campaign to take over the Flagstaff House were informed that Nkrumah had run away with £8 million. And that there was an underground tunnel that had been dug for Russian troops to come into the country. And so they had to go and save the republic and prevent Dr. Nkrumah from returning. So the soldiers that led that coup were deceived into the thinking that they were actually doing something noble for the country. So it wasn't based on corruption. It wasn't based on ethnicity. It was just purely based on the fact that they were misled. And they took and led those instructions. And that's how we got to the point where...
So the sin of Kotoka would be what?
The sin of Kotoka will be deception, number one, in staging that coup. Because it wasn't founded on corruption. The soldiers were not told that there is an issue of corruption and so go and save the state. Nkrumah never ran away with $8 million. The sin of corruption is the fact that when he was gunned down at the airport, it was turned into a memorial spot instead of something that rather edifies us. I think the sin also is the fact that they had planned to assassinate Osagyefo even on the day of his travel. And how do we elevate the name of a person that wanted to assassinate our leader? And the final sin is the fact that after that coup d'etat, countries like South Korea leapfrogged us. It created an abyss of political instability for 30 years that it took us 30 years to recover from. And those are some of the sins I'm talking about.
There are people who justify the coup against Nkrumah, the 66 coup.
Right.
And they say that Nkrumah was getting to a point where he should not get to, and that this coup was an intervention that has saved all of us from having a Yoweri Museveni on our hands. And that to the extent that Kotoka has cut short that dictatorial tendency and a future despot, we should celebrate him, and having him there is worth celebrating.
Yeah, so let's look at history. There are over 10 founding fathers or first presidents or revolutionary leaders of countries who developed dictatorial tendencies. Let's not forget that there was a 1958 attempt on his life, the 1962 attempt on his life, the 1964 or so. We could have lost our founding father to these things. The country also was not united. We had different political factions that were founded on the premise of political ethnic affiliation. The Northern People's Party, the Western Togoland Party. So he noticed that, look, our country is divided and purely on party affiliation. And he realized that, look, how do we come to unite the country under one state where we have one identity? So the idea of dictatorial tendencies was not born out of the fact that he had a thirst for power, but he had given an opportunity for democracy to thrive.
One-party state?
A one-party state. And
PDA, all these are sins.
Of course, and I'm saying that how does one get to the point of paranoia when your life has been attempted at 3 times? You can't trust people, even within your party. There were rumors that the CIA was trying to overthrow him. So that level of paranoia influenced that decision to bring the country under one state. And that's why I think that his dictatorial tendencies, as we call it, was not any different from Jomo Kenyatta, wasn't different from Modibo Keita, wasn't different from Sekou Toure. All these founding fathers had developed dictatorial tendencies. Even Julius Caesar had developed dictatorial tendencies, of which Brutus justified the overthrow or the coup d'etat. But nobody elevates the name Brutus today. I don't even think there's any parent that names their child Brutus or Judas or Hitler. And so that's the argument in which we cannot use as an excuse for elevating Kotoka above Dr. Nkrumah. And even if that is the case, I don't mind if Kotoka has a barrack named after him. I don't mind if some monument or some memorial is instated, maybe in the Volta region or any part of our country, to remember that history lesson. But his name at the front of our republic definitely doesn't sit well. We have an AU that has Dr. Nkrumah's statue at the forecourt of it. And that was influenced by John Evans Atta Mills. Imagine AU leaders coming for an AU summit. And then they arrive in Ghana, and the first name they see is not the name of the one who sits at the forecourt of the AU, but the name of the one that overthrew him. And I think that doesn't sit well with anybody. It's such a paradox.
So, do you want his name again removed because you are Ghan? I've interviewed Nia Ikwe Otu. He says he would love for a Ghan name to be put there, or a Ghan icon to be put there. What's your counter? Do you want a Ghan person put there?
I think I heard the Transport Minister very well in terms of the reasons or the strategic reason why it is being named Accra International Airport. Let's not forget it was a military field, an airfield. And then Dr. Nkrumah secured funding and then redeveloped it into the Accra International Airport. And it was, at the time, I'm sure had been done in consultation with the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs. Even Buzia in the minority, there is no record that they opposed it. And it was to actually honor the sacrifices that the Ghana people had made in giving up their land for monuments as such. And I think if it's even a Ghana question, then it also appeases a very large majority of the population in the Greater Accra region who also feel that something should be named after them. Accra is a historical place. And I think if Ghanaians can say that that is my city, either coming from outside or leaving the shores of this country, it still creates national pride, and it's nothing that anybody can have.
So you're okay with it becoming Accra? You don't necessarily need it to be named.
Yeah, because
Neodate Lante Airport or something. Yeah, okay.
I'm okay with Accra because it unifies the Ghana state even into that thinking. Neodate Lante may come from La, he may come from Teshi, and then the arguments as to why isn't it named after somebody from Gbese or Sempe. So I think it's fine that it's Accra International Airport. Maybe
Ghana International Airport would have been better, or even down the Dangbe people will fight. Okay.
I mean, if you have a Ghana person who doesn't speak English at all he knows is Ghana, so he will be saying me Yaga International Airport there. So it's fine. Yeah.
Nilante van der Poel, how did we even get here in the first place? So was it by law that we gave that airport the name that we gave it, or it was people who were jubilating after the overthrow of Frank Nkrumah said, we're going to name this place Kotoka? And how come over the decades it remained Kotoka International Airport, only for us to be planning to remove it, 60 years after its overthrow now? Because that people wonder, okay, why now?
Well, thank you once again. Let me say I'm proud of my son. I'm proud.
He has made you.
Oh, yeah. I've known him when he was a child.
Oh, really? New Ogbo?
Yeah. Yes. I'm over 60, so you should know.
Okay.
The father used to come to me with him. He was a small boy, then I think he was in kindergarten or something.
Yes, Bishop Bowers.
Bishop Bowers at that time. So I'm proud of him, and he's done what the father has always been doing. The father is one of those people who have believed in the ideals of Nkrumah, and I think I want to commend you. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Keep it up. I'm happy when young men like you are taking over from where we have lived. So, Sanda, the issue of Kotoka International Airport has been on the banner for long, not today. It even started during the time of President Hilal Liman.
Yeah.
Parliament even had the time to discuss it. Then during the time of Professor Mills, it came up again. You see, what are the reasons why national monuments are named after people? To serve as reminder, to serve as, let me say, idolizing the people, to serve as an example to the youth who are coming up, to people who have role models out of them. Historically, if you look throughout our history, we've had some eventful coup d'etats. We've had military heads of state who named any national monument after himself. Jerry Rawlings virtually declined when a whole university that he brought money to establish wanted to name the school after him. He declined.
UDS.
He declined. Did Achampon name any monument after him? Did Akufo do that? So we may say that those people are military dictators, but they were even conscious enough not to name national monuments after them. So why Kotoka? Not Kotoka as an individual, but a particular occurrence within our history which fractured our growth and led us to the path of confusion, and we didn't know what we were doing. Based upon the CIA's deception. This is a blot of our national history, and over the years, people have come to realize that it was a mistake that should have never happened. Two, we are talking about a situation where somebody who has been celebrated by the whole world as Africa's man of the millennium, that the whole US have named a portion of their African library after. And we are celebrating his overthrow by naming our most important national tourist monument after the man who overthrew him.
Are we celebrating or reminding ourselves that here lies the man who removed the man who was going to be the dictator, who was going to be
Neil Date
our Museveni?
Neil Date has a very simple question, and I have been asked that question before. Somebody travels from Ethiopia after attending the AU meeting or conference or visit, and then he is on a flight. Then he gets and he hears the pilot says, we are descending to... The person knows he's coming to Accra. And then he hears we are descending to the Kotoka International Airport. He asks, who is Kotoka? And I tell him, the man who overthrew Osajefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
He'll do a U-turn.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. That is how awful the thing is. You ask a simple question of why not a gun? I don't believe in that. I think I want to see a consistency in branding. Throughout this country, we've not named any apart from the Ajiman Pempe, the first. It used to be Kumasi International Airport, and now Ajiman Pempe. I am so happy about that because Ajiman Pempe, historically, did what many Ghanaians couldn't do. Fought colonial oppression. Through that, he was captured and sent to Seychelles. You understand?
So it's worth the name.
It's worth it.
But we changed the Tamale 1-2 to Tali, Yakubu Tali Airport. And your people came and they want to change it.
Who was Yakubu Tali? When we allow politicians to conveniently change the name of monuments to suit their political aggrandizement, their capricious intents. It doesn't unify this country. You understand?
That's what you see Yakubu Tali as.
Yes. Look, for example, I was, just as my son is doing, I was really the man behind the name change from Ohinijan Sports Stadium to Accra Sports Stadium.
You didn't like?
Yes.
Because
go and ask. Ask those footballers and those national athletes around that time. The land on which the stadium is situated was given out by a family. Go and ask what happened to the main icon of that family, one of the finest footballers that Ghana has ever produced.
Who?
Bryant. Go and ask what happened between him and Ohinijan. Ohinijan has a family. They've not done anything, so I wouldn't want to say it here. But I said, if I give my land for you to build, and then you get up and you engage in acts that go to denigrate my family, then what's the purpose? You understand? I think that consistency in branding is key. Accra International Airport, you sit on a flight, where you are going, I'm going to Accra, then you get down at the Accra International Airport, then it sits with your tourist.
But other airports have JFK.
But
John F. Kennedy.
But we also have Washington.
Jomo Kenyatta.
We also have Los Angeles.
No, Washington is Dallas Airport.
I'm
then
saying
we have
it's Dallas. Dallas is a name of a community.
Yes, I'm saying that.
A
So
place.
we have names after airports. We
I
have
know.
Jomo Kenyatta.
Let's not look at airport alone. Let's look at monuments.
Okay.
And let's ask ourselves.
Ofwe-Boigny Airport in Côte d'Ivoire.
But Ofwe-Boigny, what did he do?
Mohammed Murtala in Lagos.
Yes, what did he do?
So Murtala was a cool man.
But what did he do after? He built Nigeria. Up to today, Nigerians celebrate Murtala. And who did he remove? He removed another military dictator.
Who was not the founding father of
You
Nigeria.
understand? So it is
So
not
that
just about-
justifies it. But
Eh,
so if the name at our airport was any name than Kotoka, you will not have a problem. If it was not a cool leader who removed Nkrumah, for instance, if it was Tete Kwashi International Airport, you wouldn't have a problem.
I will be happy. Because Tete Kwashi has done something monumental.
If it was Osetutu International Airport, you don't mind.
I know.
Don't mind.
You see,
If it was Rollins International Airport,
Yes,
no, you see,
International Airport.
when Rollins himself did not allow any monument to be named after him,
You won't force it.
I won't force it.
okay. So if it was any,
But
but the,
for
the
example,
point
we have Rollins Park.
Yes.
It wasn't Rollins who said it was Rollins Park. People named him after him because he severally came to park the Prince Goa there, address the nation there. You understand?
But he has
we have
accepted it.
Rollins,
We
we
can
have
call
Rollins
him
Circle
Rollins
at
Airport.
Medina. Rollins never, there was no legislation, there was no law, there was no government policy, there was no executive instrument.
it's community name.
This community name, people who live around the area said, we are calling this circle Rollins Circle.
How about Sankara? We were celebrating Thomas Sankara.
Look, Thomas Sankara was an African icon. The whole Africa celebrated Thomas Sankara. Because, for example, today in Burkina, look at what the gentleman is doing. That the whole
They said
world,
that's a new Sankara.
you understand? So people are saying the new Sankara. So it is what you did that will make people keep your name alive even when you are gone.
What do you say to the comment by the minority leader Afenyo
It's
Makin that
unfortunate.
this is the only or one of the few ever
It is not true.
names?
It is not true.
And that
Look,
the NDC is not treating their
Look,
own
it is not
ever
true.
base nice.
This country celebrates Victor Gbao, Philip Gbao, Ifemamu. All of them are from the Volta region.
But we don't have monuments after
Look,
maybe.
look, for example, let me say this. Even here in Accra, don't we celebrate 28 February? Who are the people involved?
3 Ghana names.
Not 3 Ghana names. We have Udate Lamte, Corporal Tipo.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
You understand?
And
So-
yes,
Sergeant Ajete.
Sergeant Ajete.
Yeah, so it is not about where you come from. That's why I was so offended when the minority leader said what he said. That it is not, nobody should tribalize this. We're talking about national
But
unity.
he's saying that your party, you have your base in the
Accra,
Volta
let me say
region.
this.
And
In Accra.
and you should celebrate.
I don't want to, what we are doing is not about NDC, it's not about MPP. It's about Ghana. It's about Ghana. setting example for the children tomorrow. When my child grows up and my child asks me, Daddy, who is Kotoka? Then I tell him, somebody who did a coup to overthrow the first president of this country. My child will look at me, am I correct? You understand? You see, the issue has to do with, there are so many monuments in Accra that have been named after people who are not Gandangwis. They are not Gandangwis. We've not complained about it. Have we? We haven't. Don't you have Dankwa Circle?
Obechebi Circle.
Don't you have Obechebi? Fine, it's a Ghana.
Yeah.
We don't have. We have so many others. Kwame Nkrumah Circle. To the extent that Kwame Nkrumah wasn't a Ghana, but was the first MP of
Garland.
a Garland. We are not fussy about those things.
Okay.
And no Gan Manche or Gandangwe chief or opinion leader has really advocated for this. You mentioned Ayiku too. His was a reaction to what has happened. It may be a reaction to what Opinion Market said.
And he's not forcing. He's saying that he has no problem with Accra, but
Yes.
if he had his way, you
Yes.
can name. But it's not compulsory. It's not really demanding.
Exactly what I'm saying here.
Okay.
You see, let me say this. You know, how will they sit with, for example, the people in Ashanti region, that somebody who has really committed, let me say, a sin against the state of Ashanti, then they have Kumasi Airport named after that person.
It will be insulting.
It will be insulting.
Right. Let me bring in
So-
the person from Kumasi. Oforikrom is a Kumasi constituency, right? It's in the heart
Yes.
of Kumasi.
KNUST.
Oh, that's Oforikrom.
Yes.
Oh, nice. I don't know Kumasi well. I want to go and spend 1 week and know
So if
Kumasi.
you enter KNUST, you are within Oforikrom.
I see. Okay. This name change thing, do you as a party, as a bloc, oppose it, or it is your leader who is not happy with it?
No, I think generally individuals have opinions about it. The party has not come out with a position. So I cannot sit here and say, as a party or as a bloc, we oppose. We've not come out with a position. But generally, individuals have their opinions about the name change. I personally think that there are bread and butter issues that we should concentrate on and not name changes.
Are you sure? You were going
Yeah,
to change
No.
Dombo University.
No,
You even
at
wanted
this
to
point-
name University
at
of
this point,
Ghana.
so the
Dankwa.
same government who thinks
You put a
the
statue
same
in
government who thinks
Takrady.
it is not important to change names.
Yes.
And because of that, reverse the names. They're
Yes.
saying they are going to change their name. So
We are not changing, we are reversing.
There
It was
are
Accra
bread and
International
butter
Airport, we are not
issues.
changing.
The question I want to ask is that
Allow them to
that's how I was quiet when
I'm
you
just
were
correcting him.
Okay.
Yes.
They said they are,
we
they are resetting
The
the
Honorable
list.
Nilante said this is about Ghana. I don't think it's about Ghana. Clearly, it is their party wish that they want to satisfy.
But they are not CPP.
No, but the NDC now they've positioned themselves as Nkrumahist.
Okay.
Even though they don't do anything Nkrumahist.
Oh, how?
No. You see, the time immemorial they said they are Nkrumahist, they are socialist, but I don't see the socialism part of them.
Okay.
Yeah, they are more capitalist than socialist.
We are not socialists.
They are just
They are left
socialists
of
on
center.
the outside,
But they drive
in
V8
action-
and enjoy life.
in action they enjoy life. So, what are the issues? One breath they are telling us that the circumstances concerning some other coup d'etats are different, but then circumstances concerning Kotoka has to be looked critically, and because of that, a name should be changed. If my brother Odate, if I'm right in the name pronunciation, if he was there at the time, what would have been his position? Because I've read a document where Sergeant Prempe II was commending the NLC that Nkrumah came, forced and seized their lands to the extent that some of them, their source of income and monies were not coming because of the kind of actions Nkrumah took against them. At the time, when Nkrumah, in 1957, we had more than 200 million pounds in our reserves. By 2 years later, or 4 years later, it had waned due to spending. It was just left. I've seen a video where one of Nkrumah's appointees, I think he was his finance minister or something, saying that he went to Nkrumah to tell him that you only have 500,000 pounds in accounts, and Nkrumah was like, no, it's not true, go and check again. You understand? So the country had gotten to a point where there were food shortages, there were a lot of issues. Really? We were in debt. Before the coup, we were in debt as a country.
In 66?
Yes, we were in debt. We were in debt in 1965. Our reserves were left to about 500,000. In 66, our reserves stood at negative 39 million.
Really?
Yes, in 66. So these were the issues then that drove the whole coup d'etat. When the NLC came, you know, Kotoka II was removed through coup d'etat. He was shot, killed, and then how long did Kotoka spend as leader? That's the question we have to ask. People say Kotoka didn't do anything, but how long did he sit on the seat? The man came within a year or two, he was gone. He didn't spend much time. No, wait. But then it's on record that the NLC built Terminal 2 and commissioned it.
The airport.
Kotoka International Airport, the Terminal 2.
It's not on record.
NLC commissioned it. It's on record. NLC commissioned it. The videos are there. Go and check the British Party news. It's there. Google it. You see it.
There was a video that was just shown.
The NLC commissioned it. So the Gettysburg government initiated the Kotoka, did the design of the Ghana Accra International Airport, did the initial designs and all that, and then they handed governance to Nkrumah. And then Nkrumah came and built the Terminal 1. Terminal 2 was built and commissioned by the NLC. When you go to Takoradi, the Bonsaso Tire Factory, it was the NLC that put up the Bonsaso Tire Factory. Nkrumah did it, but they operated it. They commissioned it. There's this plant, a vehicle factory called the Bedford Vehicle Factory. It was the NLC that did it.
Based where?
Bedford, I think it was in Accra or somewhere. But NLC,
I know the Bedford car, but I didn't know. I want to know. Okay.
NLC did it. You understand? So the NLC.
So you're saying that NLC did
NLC
a lot?
also did some. NLC did some.
I'll come to you.
Yeah.
So when we tried to whitewash Nkrumah, the circumstances at the time was what brought the coup.
So he was not a saint?
He wasn't a saint. So even his own son. There's a video that I've seen this morning. Sekou Nkrumah was saying that the naming of the renaming of the Kotoka International Airport is not important at this time. His own son admits that it's not important because there are other issues. There are equally governments like a Champon, like Rollins and so on, who did coup d'etat. So if today people feel that, okay, anybody who did coup d'etat's name should be removed from monuments, then it will even affect the NDC themselves because they were born from coup d'etat.
But that's what the point is, that Rollins has nothing named after him.
He was mentioning Rollins Park and so on. Did he name it himself? People named it after him.
Yes.
People named it after him.
But it's not in law. That's what he's saying.
Did Kotoka name the airport himself?
No.
Exactly. People named it after him, after he was gone.
But
to remember, you see, the time Kotoka did the coup, at that time, those who were there felt it was necessary. Those who were there at the time when my brother was not born and I was not born, they felt it was necessary.
And it was hailed.
When Ghanaians were crying, university students in Lagos were crying, let the blood flow. Then with Rollins, when Rollins was doing coup d'etat, they felt it was necessary. They felt it was necessary then. But then the coup affected a lot of people. My grandmother in the village in Wassa, those days, all of them were affected by the Rollins coup. And because of that, no, they were not doing Kalabule. They were doing genuine business. They would go and buy fish from Takrade. They will bring it, and then the CDS, their people, they will collect it and auction it off. And auction it off and beat them, strip them naked and beat them and all that. So because of that, if you go to my grandma, those days my grandmother is gone. But those days you go and they have hatred for Rollins.
And that's the hatred that translates into the son, the
grandson. No. You know, before Rollins died, my dad had very good relationship with him. He used to go to him and all that.
So let's get back to our track. So you were saying that
you have to look at the issues then.
So you're saying
the reasons why the coup came.
You are saying that Nkrumah went bad despite everything he did.
Exactly.
Kotoka removing him and Kotoka being honored is not a problem.
It's not an issue we should even.
But the question is,
because Kotoka's name is there today, that is why we even get time to read about the issues that happened and understand the history.
Question: I'm on a flight.
People are just trying to whitewash Nkrumah and then create create a situation where Nkrumah is seen as a saint.
Okay, question though, question. You are as a Ghanaian who is just finished celebrating smoke or fugu. So
Yes.
a Zambian decides that, oh, he's coming to visit Ghana and he's your friend, or he texted you on Facebook. Then you go to the airport to pick him after he arrived because he wants to come and know about Ghana now that you've talked about fugu. He wants to go to see how it is done. Then you pick him up and then he says, but why is your airport called Kotoka? And you tell him that it's named after somebody. And he says, who is this person? And you tell him that it's named after the guy.
Tell him.
And you tell him that it's named after the guy who removed the founding president of Ghana and one of the key Pan-Africanists. That's what you tell him.
Yes, because at the time he was removing him, the founding president of Ghana had become a dictator.
Okay.
He had created a one-party state and was appointing people into parliament. He created a detention act. Preventive detention act, and started imprisoning all his opponents. My brother was sitting here saying that it was because he feared the shadow, because people were up to get him. If every president, even John Mahama sitting there today, he will fear his shadow.
Oh, please.
That is why presidents come and sometimes they put somebody closer to them, to the Ministry of Defense and Interior. Every politician, even a member of parliament, there are people working against you all the time.
You can't do this.
So, and because of that, you go and you set up laws to imprison your opponents. Is that why we are saying? Is that democracy?
At the time, was it not justified?
It wasn't.
Because he was now building a nation, and the nation had to be running.
He came through an election. Then suddenly he wants to change everything. If they had allowed him,
but the people were stubborn.
There are countries in Africa today that have dictators, and where are they now? When Mugabe was in Zimbabwe, what happened? You understand? When you allow people to sit on the seat for so long, a time, it gets to
sit on the seat for so long.
But someone who has been able to institutionalize a detention preventive act,
one party
in 1964, he banned all political parties. What is banning all political parties?
We've given the history of the context of how it happened.
You ban all
so
political
wrap up
parties.
for me. I want to hear from. But let me also say that you are in the studio with you are the only one, so I'll allow you more time because they are all against you.
3 against 1.
No, it's not 3. We have not heard from my people farmer yet.
And Odate has done history on Nkrumah. I have not done history on Nkrumah.
So you shouldn't be speaking to it.
But then we've read.
So I'm giving you time. Ignore them. Go ahead. Fire.
For me, this is not necessary.
It is.
It is not. It is some sect of this country who want to please themselves.
The sect that got plenty percentage in the last election.
The sect that got plenty percentage in the election. Yes, it's not.
The super majority sect.
Yes, it's not doubted. And even amongst them, some of them, some of them think it is not necessary.
It's not true.
Including Nkrumah's own son, Sekou Nkrumah.
Please don't.
Including Sekou Nkrumah, he's on record. Umar, let your producers check.
Yes, but you cannot challenge that. Sekou Nkrumah is not popular about his. He's not popular with his father's position.
It doesn't matter. But a son is a son.
Haven't you seen
If a son is a son, the father who is gone is still rebelling against the father.
Let him land. You land so that
for me. There are key issues in this country we need to focus on.
Okay.
Not changing of an airport. In any case, Neil Ante talks about consistency and branding. What is more consistent than leaving a name, a brand that is known worldwide? Everybody in this world knows Ghana's airport is called Kotoka.
No.
So when you go to change the name, that is not consistency, that is not branding.
Okay.
That is rebranding and your resets.
Okay, that's fine. Let me, before I come back to you in studio, and Mr. Ten, I'll come to you as well. Let me go on Zoom because I have somebody there who I want to pick the thoughts of. Dr. George Domfe is an economist and a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana. Doc, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, my brother.
I want us to we'll talk about the economy, but I wanted your comment on Kwame Nkrumah, Kotoka International Airport. You are the lecturer, so maybe, and you have academic freedom. Please speak to me.
Lecturer in economics.
Yes, but he's also. He's also they said the economy at the time, the Ghana's economy at the time warranted the coup d'etat that went against him. You are the numbers person. How bad was Ghana?
Angry.
Apart from the political side, economically, were things really
bad? Why do you
bad?
think people go and pull Nkrumah's statue just like people went to pull a Kufado's statue?
Let's hear Dr. Domfe. Yes.
Good morning to you and your panelists. I'm especially happy to meet my senior, Honorable Neil Ante. We are opposed of Bichim Presbyterian Secondary School. That's our school, and I always love to listen to him. When we were back at the days we were in school, we saw him as somebody, who was already in the limelight. It wasn't easy for someone to come all the way from Bichim to be where he is, and so honorable. Very good morning, sir.
He came from Bichim.
Thank you very much.
Bichim Secondary School. Bichim Secondary School.
Look, I will see
You
you
will
at
be
the
60 years. You will be
But
60 years on 28th February. That is this month.
you know his date of birth too.
The school. We went
Okay, I'm talking about the
We
school.
went to the same school.
Wait, is
and
it-
will be 60. The school will be
Okay,
60.
the school, Bichim
Yeah,
or...
Bichim Presec.
But Gam, you have a Bichim.
That's why I grew up. I grew up in Sunyai.
So what are you?
He's international.
Please, no, continue. I mean, sorry, I didn't see that one coming. This history is interesting. Anyway, continue, please.
Okay, so I'm a Bichim, I'm a Presec. If you go there today, it looks so nice. It's one of the Kwame Nkrumah's, I'm a legacy. If we want to talk about the man, Nkrumah, he's a man of many paths. And so the famous scholar Ali Mazrui described Kwame Nkrumah as the greatest African. But he also said he was a terrible Ghanaian, the greatest African, but a terrible Ghanaian. And that is where I want to pick my opinion from. Looking at Kwame Nkrumah's, in fact, I feel proud. I have been roaming around the world, sometimes as a visiting scholar to some universities, and anywhere you go, Kwame Nkrumah's name is synonymous, with the name Ghana. I mean, he has it all, the most popular figure, no doubt about that. And when you even come back to Ghana, economically, Kwame Nkrumah didn't think about the events of the day, but he had vision. What was the vision? His vision was to transform the economy, the Gordonsburg type of economy, where the primary sector was the lead producer, contributor to GDP, the lead contributor to job creation and all that. And Nkrumah, how did he want to do it? Just to look at the middle. I'm talking about the secondary sector. And he did very well with the manufacturing, setting up factories here and there. So at least we could produce enough of what we needed to consume. And if we had continued from where Kwame Nkrumah left, Ghana wouldn't be where it is today. Now our economy is jobless economy. It doesn't create job because at the time, during Kwame Nkrumah's time, agricultural sector was a leading contributor to GDP. And it continued until around 2005 when we got up a day and we were told that the tertiary, the services sector, is now the leading contributor to GDP. And if you look at the economies of all the countries that developed, they moved from the primary sector, that's agricultural, to the secondary, the manufacturing and all those other things before the tertiary. In our situation, we leapfrogged. We moved all the way from the primary and we went to the tertiary. Just like a child finishing primary school and going to Legon. And that's why we still remain very confused. And so the middle ground is supposed to be the industrial sector, the secondary sector, where we have the manufacturing, where we could build more factories to produce most of things that we consume. Today, we are talking about dollar. We are so excited because CD has picked up a strength against the dollar. Why? Because we need more dollars to import. And we have forgotten that when you import what people have produced in their countries, you are creating jobs for them. And that's why over the last 15 years that I have been with the tertiary, I have taught students, master's, PhD. Over the last 10 years, they are still roaming about with our work. That's how, excuse my language, useless our economy has become. And Kwame Nkrumah had a vision of transforming, the economy. He had and so based on that, in my class, I always look at him as a man of vision. He saw what is happening today during the time, and the people around him didn't see that. And so on that basis, I give it to him. But we have so many people who, because of that thing, Kwame Nkrumah did so well. That is, some Ghanaians. Now, the population of almost about 36 million. Some of us think Kwame Nkrumah did very well. But we should also not forget that there are others who also think otherwise. Those who suffered the circumstances of Preventive Detention Act. Because of this particular act, 1/3 of the MPs, sitting MPs, had to run away from the army country. So today we have 276
so 88 micro minority would have run away.
You see, because anytime you said anything that sometimes it's even based on rumor. So if you said something to a friend and the friend doesn't like you and he goes to tell Nkrumah, you are in trouble.
You had veranda boys who were listening in on private conversations of their family members. That's what we hear. Is that also true?
And yes, two prominent MPs. I'm talking about Professor Buzia. He had to run away. His own finance minister, first finance minister for Ghana, Dadema, he had to run away because he didn't agree with Kwame Nkrumah. And so you could see that, yes, the man did very well, but there were a lot of things that he also got it wrong. Those who were so bold and decided to stay in Ghana, hey, they also had trouble. Our own Akwaji was in prison. He was a minister under him. J.B. Dankwa, what did he do wrong? Writing articles about what should be done. You know, J.B. Dankwa, around 1930s, early 1930s or late 1920s, he had his PhD. During that time, you could count the number of PhD holders globally. But he came back from UK to work so we can be where we are today. At the end of the day, this man died so painfully. And so today when we are talking, we shouldn't talk as if we don't have people who belong to that group. What is more, Kwame Nkrumah decided it was multi-party democracy before, the 1956 elections. Before the 1957, we became an independent country. He did so well because of power, by pushing the country to become a one-party state, and he became the life, president. I think that was very bad. Our flag, we had to push Ghana flag somewhere, and I had to adopt the flag of CPP. Yes, so those who love Kwame Nkrumah wouldn't have a problem with this. But we're talking about Ghana. Ghana is not. It's a whole lot of people. We have a whole lot. Class and groups of people.
Doc, in fact, you are an excellent debater. I like how you raise the high points of Nkrumah and you are using the low points to demolish him. I would never want to be in a debate with you. But in summarizing the conversation, I was thinking when you started that, oh, this guy is CPP, he's Nkrumah. Now I'm wondering, okay, he's MPP, he's UP. It's difficult to tell, which is very helpful. Even though Neil Ante has whispered in the studio that you're an MPP member. So that gives that context. But my question is, based on what you have said, was the 66 coup justified? 1. 2, should we have Kotoka's name at our gateway? Those 2 questions. What is your view?
Okay, quickly, before I continue, let me say that, Senior, it is never true that I'm an MPP person. I have never been a card-bearing member of MPP. So when I vote, I sometimes publicly say it to everybody. In fact, the last elections, I've said it on many platforms that I voted for MPP. That is me. In fact, if you ask Honorable Bawa Muntari, he will tell you that I was the personal research. I was doing research for them.
No, don't say it in public. It was a private contract. Now you have exposed it.
So people will know that. Will know what I stand for.
Okay, so you voted 2024 MPP. How about 2020?
Yeah, so let's continue with this discussion.
No, because you mentioned that I just wanted to know whether you voted for NDC before, because you said you publicly announced your votes. Have you voted NDC before?
I vote based on the agenda of the day. I look at the parties.
No problem. Doc, you see, you brought your vote up in the public. That's what I'm asking. Have you voted NDC before?
Yeah. So 2020, I voted for MPP. 2024, I voted for an MPP because of the change that I saw coming from. I was talking about the transformation of the economy.
Doc,
moving from.
Doc, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hello.
Have you voted NDC before?
Let me not. Let's. I mean, would you allow me? You know,
I'll allow you, but you see, you brought up your vote in public.
No, but no. So I brought it. I'm answering, and you bring in another one. I think it's
no problem. Let's go back. So answer my 2 questions for me. 1, the 66
Okay,
school,
so
based on
to
everything
go-
you know,
to
was
go
it
back
justified?
quickly.
And 2, have Kotoka's
Go
name.
back quickly. I have never been a card-bearing member of any political party in this country.
Okay.
That's number 1. Currently, I mean, I speak so much about Akufo-Addo's legacy. I was so much excited with the one district, one factory, and all those other things that sought to improve the manufacturing sector to create jobs. I really love it. I mean, no doubt about it, and I don't hide my feelings about what I like. And so, talking about Nkrumah, he did all that, but back at home, things were not good. Look at the chieftaincy. A whole Ochehini was distilled because Kwame Nkrumah didn't agree with him. In fact, there were processes underway to get rid of Asantehene, and he did quite a lot. You know, today, most of the chieftaincy issues that we are having today comes from, you know, how Kwame Nkrumah managed that sacred institution during his time. And so we can't say that everything about Kwame Nkrumah was excellent. Today we have people who don't like Nkrumah, we have some who like him. And it was in the midst of all these problems that I've talked about. Chiefs were running away, politicians were running away, all of things. It was in the midst of this that Kotoka came. Because there was no way, Kwame Nkrumah was going to, you know, stop his, how do I call it, political, you know, I don't know whether I'm right to say.
Say it. I mean, you have
you know, so his political antagonism, how he was chasing people away, anybody who didn't agree with him on an issue, you have to either go to prison or you have to run away. And so looking at all these, and people have said that he did those things to protect his life. I don't think that is too weak an argument. We are talking about Ghana. Ghana was not Kwame Nkrumah. Ghana was bigger than his life. And so there were so many options he could have used to protect himself.
So the 66 intervention, so the 66 intervention was necessary.
And so it was during this that Kotoka came. And some of us also see Kotoka as a man of justice, a man of freedom, a man of peace, a man of equity, a man of democracy, the true democracy. Today, what we are experiencing today started with Kotoka. It started with him because if assuming Kwame Nkrumah, after declaring himself as life president, and assuming he was going to live for the rest of the life of this planet, it means that today we will still be having him as our head of state.
Oh no, he died in Guinea later, so it would have gone.
The name Kotoka should remain. It's unfortunate that at this time when we are struggling, the economy is still struggling. We are still at where we were Gordonsburg type, not creating job, and today you need to push in more dollars just to stabilize CD, so you could get more to go and import. And we are excited. You see, we have fundamental problems with the economy, and this is the time for us to think about it. This is not a time that we have to waste. Away thinking about what should be the name of the international airport.
So is majoring or minus? That's what you think?
Exactly, that's what I think. Exactly is what I think.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll come back to you because there's more to talk about. Odate, the man has come to demolish your whole Nkrumah agenda completely.
He hasn't. I think first of all,
he has given the foundation the positive one, but he has said that everything that went, Nkrumah is like Kotoka was a peacemaker. It was a man of justice, and all of those. You said,
no problem. Let's start with.
In fact, I needed to hear from Mr. Teno first. You should go ahead. Okay, please.
Let's start with the British Broadcasting Corporation, the BBC. It's been the largest media organization in the world for as long as we know it. It's a symbol of press freedom for everybody that understands media and politics. The BBC named Dr. Kwame Nkrumah as the African of the millennium. Where's the paradox? For a man that is tagged as one who, curtailed the rights of people and infringed on it. It doesn't sit there. This was a neutral perspective of the largest media organization in the world. Number two, the whole idea that there were Ghanaians jubilating at the time of the overthrow. Let's go back to history and let's read from Nkrumah's account of exactly what he said. It's on page 31 of his book, Dark Days in Ghana. He says, much publicity was given in the imperialist press Because don't forget that the coup d'etat was sponsored by the CIA. So if media is controlled by the media at the time, you're not going to have Nkrumah faithfuls being published or projected on the international media. It's not going to happen. He says that much publicity in the imperial press and on TV to the pulling down of the statue of myself in front of the National Assembly building in Accra. It was made to appear as though angry crowds had torn the statue from its pedestal and had carried off chunks of it. But it was not for nothing that no photographs could be produced to show the actual pulling down of the statue. And it goes on that there are many other incidents which could be recorded, but sufficient has been written to show the manner in which the military and the police action of 24 February 66 was carried out. So it's pure propaganda. Like he said, we're not there. And for whatever had to be displayed was fueled and inspired by the CIA to give a certain impression that Kwame Nkrumah's overthrow was popular. So let's sit within the annals of history. Somebody will come and say Nkrumah wrote it himself. The Gallic achievements of Julius Caesar were written by Julius Caesar. Nobody disputes it till today.
But Julius Caesar is a Shakespearean story, or?
Yes, but the point I'm making is that his achievements that had him conquer Gaul, which made him popular and powerful, were written by Julius Caesar himself. So I also don't want to hear a counter-argument that Nkrumah wrote this account to only make himself look good. And then we come to the issue of dictatorship. I think every country...
Everybody was running away, according to Dr.
Yeah, of course. So there are two kinds of dictators. There are visionary dictators and there are regular dictators. An individual like Paul Biya of Cameroon is not a visionary dictator. An individual like Paul Kagame is a visionary dictator. Ibrahim Traoré, a visionary dictator.
So Nkrumah is a visionary...
Nkrumah was, of course, a visionary dictator. A nuclear reactor in 1958. Just think about it. Who thought about it? What's the whole idea of that particular enclave? So there's nothing like Nkrumah was a great African but a terrible Ghanaian. He was a great Ghanaian also. And we talk about the economic issues that may have influenced the overthrow. At the time when he was overthrown, yes, our macroeconomic indicators were not good. But it was the same for Nigeria. It was the same for Mali. It was the same for Guinea. And how do you expect our primary balance sheet and our current account balances to have been healthy when a lot of it was being invested to free other African countries? So it was an investment for the long term. The end had to justify the means. And today, because of Nkrumah, 7 African countries gained their freedom. It came at a cost to us. And which is why he's named the African of the Millennium at the forecourt of the AU. When President Mills gave that speech, which influenced the position of that statue at the forecourt of it, it was met with a standing ovation. Are there arguments about press freedoms being curtailed? Now let's talk about how Kotoka is actually the only... First of all, Kotoka was not a head of state. He was put in charge of the armed forces. Yeah. General Ankara was head of state. So if General Ankara's name was at the forecourt of the Republic, we could then have a proper debate. But this was the head of the armed forces of Ghana, being elevated to the position fronting our national gateway. At the time of his death, in 1969, when the NLC decree was passed, Kotoka's family was awarded 500,000 Ghana cedis. A new home was established for him in Accra. The one in his village was renovated. His kids were taken care of. Name one leader in our history that has had this amount of money allocated to them. When you forward it to current time value of money, it's $2.2 million. It's unprecedented that General E.K. Kotoka had the largest award.
Given by who?
Given by the state. Given by General Ankara and General FIFA. Because don't forget that the reason why his name was put at the forecourt of it was that they were angry that their friend had died at the forecourt of it. There was a counter-abortive coup, Operation Guitar Boy, where Lieutenant General Moses, upon Kotoka hearing rumors that they were going to take over the airport, because they had already taken over the Flagstaff House and Radio Gold. And the airport was an important gateway.
GBC, you mean?
GBC, yes. So there was an the airport was the final gateway that Lieutenant General Moses had been was actually heading there to go and take over. Kotoka got the tip, headed there. Moses ambushed him, stabbed him 8 times, and shot him. And then Afrifa and Ankara were upset. They were sad, and then they turned the airport into a memorial center. That's all.
So that's how the airport got the name.
That's how it was named. In addition to that, a statue was elevated. So think about it. The greatest African of the millennium had a statue pulled down. An individual with no record of transformational history. Only ruled for 1 year. He didn't even rule. Compared to Murtala, and let me just read something about Murtala Mohammed. He was there for 6 months. He was head of state. And these are the achievements of Murtala Mohammed.
Murtala Mohammed of Nigeria.
Of Nigeria, because we have Murtala International Airport. And as a notice, Murtala did not overthrow Nnamdi Azikiwe. He overthrew General Gowon.
Yes.
The argument we are making is about the overthrow of a founding father, not coup d'etats.
Okay.
And a constitutional government.
And a constitutional government. That is the premise. Now look at what Murtala did in 6 months. When you go to Nigeria, he's loved.
Quickly.
It says, number one, civil service reforms, new states creation, capital relocation, foreign policy, anti-corruption efforts. Kotoka is not associated with any major developmental project in this country. Not at all.
But he was going to defend
As
the
head
country
of-
when he went to prevent that coup against General Moses.
So the point that
And
I'm
at the time, as a leader of the armed forces, he was duty bound to protect the state, which was what he was going to do. So he died in duty.
General Moses and other
So-
personnel wanted to overthrow that government.
Yeah, but he had to protect the state, and he was going to do that, and that's when he was
Yeah,
killed. So
so-
he was killed in action. So it's worth
so which is why the point I'm making is that
Then we should name,
the
we should name
500,000
another airport after Kwashiga.
Yeah, or the 500,000 Ghana cedis, which is equivalent to $2.2 million today, plus the statue at the forecourt of the Republic, which President Rawlings pulled down in October 2000.
Is enough reward.
It's enough.
Okay, let me hear from Francis.
Okay.
You sat in studio. You listened to the back and forth.
Yes.
I don't know what your view on this matter is.
Oh, okay. First of all, I've learned something small about Nkrumah and why people are saying that he wants a unionized government or country. That's
Union continent. Actually.
yes, continent.
He wanted
And even the
capital
country
to be in
Ghana, he
Libreville.
doesn't want any political party to exist. Why? Because as at that time, he was thinking that they have enough and they need a lot of specialists to manage certain factories and other industry that he has set up. So let's assume that we have an engineer who is very good that can manage one, but he belongs to other opposition party, and that party, that person will be working against your government instead of him bringing his idea on board. So Nkrumah was thinking that, okay, let's bring all the idea into one basket instead of we having opposition like what we are having or we are experiencing today. So let's assume that we have a very good economist who belongs to maybe an MPP and NDC is in government, and we need that person's skills to be able to support the government to grow. But because he belongs to a different political party, he will never do that. He always criticize the government and try to make the government look bad. And these are some of the things that Nkrumah saw, and he was thinking that no, having those political parties, that doesn't add anything to the growth of the country. It's better we bring all of them together. And this is where other people also thought it was. They don't believe in that.
So for you, what he did was preemptive protection, and
yes,
it's proper.
Yes, I think it's proper. I think.
So in your mind, Kotoka's name should not be at our airport.
Yeah, I think Accra is okay.
Accra.
Yes, Accra is okay.
Okay.
You see, Sandra, you see,
Unless you have the last bite.
let me say this here.
No, I must
A
conclude.
lot,
So you have to conclude it.
Yes.
But you
You
concluded.
brought me here for that.
a lot of misinformation
Yes.
had been propagated against Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Don't forget that the people who sponsored the coup against him saw his vision beyond the levels of the contemporary times at the time. They saw it. So that this, if we allow this guy, don't forget that colonialists were never happy giving us our self-governance. They were never happy. And Nkrumah's vision was towards an Africa unity and a United States of Africa. Nkrumah was moving towards making sure that all countries within the south of the Sahara and even down South Africa were going to have their independence. He was ready to support them, and so he even advanced the setting up of the Africa Brigade Corps, for them to propagate the message of self-governance. That is what led to having people like Oliver Tambo, Julius Nyerere, and all the rest coming up together. He even created a situation where all these freedom fighters across Africa could even come to Ghana, stay in Ghana, get their orientation well, so that they could go back and fight. So it wasn't something about just Ghana. He believed in the union of Africa. He believed in African unity.
I get that's why Mazuri said that he's a man of Africa, but not a man of Ghana.
You see, the man of Ghana issue, that is where a lot of, look, who didn't hear about the sort of mystic propaganda about Nkrumah? That Nkrumah had even Kankanyami in the castle, in the Flagstaff house, that made him vanish when he was. Look, so many things were said about him.
Nilanten, about the change, the cost of the rebranding. Have we considered that?
How much is the bill? When the former government changed almost all our institutions to names of their political apparatchiks, not statesmen, political apparatchiks, did it cost the state anything?
Okay.
Did it?
Okay.
Is it? We should not. What we are doing today is not a narrow-mindedness of satisfying a political desire.
Okay.
It's not a myopic, let me say, capricious act. This is a national thing that we are doing. That is why even members of the opposition, like Koyo Nkrumah and the rest, support it.
Honorable, if it comes to the House floor, would you vote for or against the renaming?
Whether you voted against or not, it will not make any impact.
I don't think my vote, that's what I was come to say. I don't think my vote will make any impact.
No, but it will be for the record.
It won't make any
that
impact.
The member for Ofurikro
the point is, even in the
agreed.
chamber, there are a lot of things, whether we vote or not.
No, I know how insignificant you are, but I want to
we don't even do personal vote. It's voice vote.
Yes, what I'm saying.
And when we do voice vote, our vote is always insignificant. so that is.
But at least for the record, you would have.
Looking at the influence of Nkrumah now in their front bench and Abenyomak, and I know majority of them will vote for us.
Please, front bench is not
an issue for contention. But Umaru,
in a minute, please wrap up for
Umaru, my question is, Umaru, if today a government leaves you, let's say, $200 billion as president, to marry the president, how many factories can you build? You'll be able to build so many factories. You'll be able to do the things that Nkrumah did.
But someone could misuse that too.
Someone could misuse it, but then
so the fact that I built, I should be celebrated.
Largely, you'll be able to do a lot of things.
If you want to.
The same way, the Gettysburg government left Nkrumah about £200 million then, and a lot of plans and so on. They had virtually planned Ghana. In fact, if you look at history, the Akosombo Dam and most of these things, they had put it on paper, planned all these things. Nkrumah came, implemented them.
Which book did you read?
Nkrumah came to implement all these things.
Which book did you read?
Nkrumah came to implement all these things. They are there.
It's not true.
Okay. They are there. Yeah. So if you have all these monies and you come and you start to initiate them here and there, and then eventually, by the time you are leaving, you leave a debt of about 39 million in negatives. Then you see the only reason why we are all saying what we say about Nkrumah is because he was our first president, and we think that it is good to eulogize him and put him in that pedestal.
But not make him look white.
But no, when the moment you start to initiate these things and try to whitewash history, then people will now start to dig and bring some of his negatives.
Okay.
And that is not what we should do.
Very well. Okay.
We should even call for these kind of conversations so that people start to dig his negatives. Then the outside world will now start to see, oh, okay, he got to a point where he was a tyrant against media, against his political opponents and all these things. Very
well. We need to wrap up. Stephen, you came here for, so I'll give you 2 minutes to wrap up. Then we can move on.
Can I make one point just before? I beg you.
I use 1 minute and now they have to use 2 minutes.
They are not countering you.
After all the comments they've made.
He's a senior broadcaster. If I don't give him the chance,
let me say this.
You collect my license.
The Preventive Detention Act was a necessary evil.
Oh, really?
To maintain the stability of this country.
Really?
I've been frank with you.
Wow.
Institutional
democracy.
Look,
wow.
So
the same way Kotoka school was a necessary evil at the same time.
Which head of state, after 3 attempts, do you know there were bomb throw-ins?
Some people also believe those bomb throw-ins were propaganda that he himself initiated. People who also feel he initiated it himself.
To kill himself?
No, people also feel he initiated it.
No.
Just like the shooting.
Let me hear from Stephen.
During Trump's inauguration where a bullet passed by his ear, there are people in America who feel that he initiated those things himself to get the public sympathy towards him.
Blaster Square, Kulungugu, all these attempts on his life at the time.
People
So
also
needed
think
a drastic
people also
measure
think he planned
to
those
be
things to
able
gain
to
sympathy for
stabilize
himself.
the
Okay,
country.
let me hear from Stephen to conclude.
Yes, so I just have 5 points.
Hey,
I want
that's a lot.
Yes, no, it's
Give me
very
three.
brief.
So unless you give
Yes,
him
just
10
very
minutes.
brief. Omar, this is so important.
Yes.
We've heard our arguments about how does it increase revenues at the airport and all that. I think the first thing is that the moving this argument or the goalpost is we are basically moving it from right or wrong to the question of profitable or not profitable. This is a moral issue. This is a reputational policy, not a sales promo. So we can't be sitting there talking about how does it increase revenues when it's not going to reduce revenues. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two also is the fact that Kotoka's or the NLC's time or the time that they spent after the overthrow, it took them 3 years to return the country to civilian rule. If the main purpose was to return the country to civilian rule, they should have done it in 3 months. The average amount of time where coup d'etats have existed to which those countries have returned civilian rule is not more than 200 days. The NLC
Even
was
here,
in power
even here.
for 3
Even
years. So the whole argument of overthrowing a dictator is actually flawed.
Okay.
And the final point is that there was no opposition, and this is just on the issue of the Accra International Airport renaming. There was no opposition by Buzia, and I would dare anybody anywhere to show evidence that Buzia opposed the name Accra International Airport. If he didn't, then every member of the opposition,
Should agree.
every member in power, should agree that this is the right name to be because it's so sensitive.
Okay.
So on this concluding statement, it says it was fortuitous news that the most dangerous man in Africa had to be removed. That was the CIA statement about Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And if that statement was made and Kotoka was the emblem or the symbol to make that happen, you cannot have his name elevated at the front door of Ghana's Republic. It must be Accra International Airport or at best Kwame Nkrumah International Airport. Thank you.
This is the big issue on Channel 1 Television and on 97.3 City FM. We'll be back to talk about cocoa.
We are gearing up for the trip of a lifetime. Heritage Caravan 2026. From 1st to 8th March 2026, 8 days, 14 regions, 1 legendary caravan. We're touring Ghana in the most spectacular way on the Heritage Caravan, exploring the beauty, history, and stories that make our nation unique. Rolling out from Greater Accra through Eastern and OT, up north to the Northern and Upper East, and all the way to the Western region, hitting iconic destinations across Ghana. The Heritage Caravan 2026 will be fun, educative, refreshing, and most of all, remarkable. Stay connected. Follow Channel 1 TV and 97.3 City FM across all social media platforms for updates and join the conversation using the hashtag Heritage Caravan 2026. The Heritage Caravan 2026 is powered by Channel 1 TV with support from City FM.
And it's proudly sponsored by Holland Insurance, Piva Beverages, Omni Basic Bank, Caveman Watches, Gino, Gigi Shito, Goyle, Minimi Achumo, and Admi Granite Paste. And it's supported by Nana's Rice.
Heritage Caravan 2026, experience Ghana like never before.
Welcome to The Point of View. This is your favorite current affairs show here on Channel 1 Television. On The Point of View, we pick the right topics, get the right guests, and ask them relevant questions on issues that matter to you.
With the complexities of the issues happening around us on a daily basis, it's the hard-hitting conversations and the probing questions of The Point of View.
So what is the Public Account Committee's job?
So what we do is to scrutinize, clarify, and find out why certain infractions have been made.
What do these IMF programs try to do?
The current program is for budget support.
Okay.
There are no projects attached.
That teases apart the twisted entanglements of politics and governance, as well as religious and social discourse. The Point of View brings you the policymakers and duty bearers and drills down to the very bottom of issue.
What authority do you have?
The Point of View airs every Monday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
What makes a man walk all the way from Takoradi to Accra? Not because he has to, but because he believes in the dream. This Sunday on the Upside Down Show, Frema Edunyame sits with Bra Kwame to uncover the passion, the struggles, and the powerful story behind this extraordinary journey.
But so one day you just got up and you decided to walk from Takoradi to Accra. As in,
it's something I didn't plan to do.
Okay.
Yes.
So you do things by heart?
It came by chance. You have to grab the opportunity. I was feeling so tired. I was like,
how were you looking? Because you've been walking.
So wretched, looking dirty. Like, if you should see me along the way, and
to set the mood, Elsifer Wright brings us soothing, soul-touching sounds you will absolutely love.
I don't know what you did to my mental state. You took me high and dropped me low. I give you everything I knew.
Make a date with us this Sunday at exactly 7 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
It's never selfish saying no. Rather, it's healthy. On this episode of Lifeline, we talk about setting boundaries, be it at work, in relationships, and even with family. Join Bishop Fred Kwanchimensa as he talks about how important it is to protect your peace without apology.
Welcome, my dear friends. This is Lifeline, where psychology meets theology to deal with life's complex situations. It is very important that you learn to set boundaries in order to be functional in life.
Boundaries are like invisible walls that is not meant to keep somebody out, but it's like it ends with you, walls that show where you end and where I begin.
Okay.
Or where I end and you begin. Because if those ones are not there, I will walk and bump into you.
Lifeline airs on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
You're welcome. This Face to Face on Channel 1 Television. We've just finished discussing Kwame Nkrumah, one of the national symbols of Ghana. Which show did I mention? Forgive me, the mind is playing tricks with me. So this is the big issue on Saturday morning on 97.3 CTFM and on Channel 1 Television. My director, the former broadcaster who ran away to become a politician, just corrected me for getting the name of my show wrong. So we finished talking about Kwame Nkrumah, one of the national symbols of Ghana. Let's talk about another national symbol, cocoa. And this week, cocoa farmers have been in the news. The cocoa board CEO has been in the news. There appears to be a problem paying cocoa farmers. So we have in studio a cocoa farmer. Is it fair to call you a cocoa farmer or a cocoa buyer?
I'm a cocoa farmer.
Good. What is the problem from farmers, cocoa farmers, for this particular season?
Okay, thank you. And let me extend my warm greetings to all cocoa farmers in Ghana, especially the president of Ghana Cocoa Cooperative, Mr. Isaka. What we are currently experiencing in the cocoa sector is that when you send your cocoa to the LBCs, the license buying company, they will tell you there is no money. So for about almost 2 months now, most of our farmers have sent out their cocoa to the LBCs and they have not received anything up to now.
So the procedure is, if you're a cocoa farmer and you harvest, you sell it to the licensed buyer.
Yes, you sell it to a licensed buyer.
And they will pay you cash.
They will pay you cash and take the cocoa.
So that has the plan.
That has the plan.
But this time around, it's not working that way.
It's not working. You see, cocoa is being purchased by Cocoa Board. And Cocoa Board has been bringing the seed fund for cocoa purchase. So he gave the seed fund to all LBCs in Ghana to patronize the beans and later sell it to him and balance their books. So this started with the syndicated loan. So Cocoa Board will go for the syndicated loan. They will disburse it to LBCs. LBCs will take it to their various points, buy the cocoa, deliver it to Cocoa Board, and as I said, they will balance. But since 2022-2023 season, Cocoa Board went for a syndicated loan. By the close of the season, per their books, they couldn't settle the debt that they took from the markets. Then those costs were transferred to the following year, 2023 season to 2024 season. The same thing occurred, and around that period, always the money is supposed to come before the beginning of the season. But we received the money in January when we are about to enter light crop, because the major season normally starts from October, November, December. So when you are getting the money in January, what are you going to buy with? Because at that time, we are entering into the light crop, and the beans that will be produced during that period will not be more than 20% of the entire volume. So this thing affect us in the second year. So in the third year, when they went to the market, they couldn't get any money at all. So they came and were saying that...
So this is 2024, 2025?
Yes. So they came and they said they have a plan B. And the plan B is that the off-takers, that is the chocolate producing companies, will bring money in advance to LBCs that supply them cocoa.
So instead of going to the consortium of banks to take
the loan, they have been blacklisted because you have taken it for twice. So the third year they blacklisted Ghana, so you can't go for that loan anymore. So they went and didn't get the money, so they have to find a way to buy it. And as at that time, so you see the economy was very bad. Government cannot raise money. And the money that we use to buy cocoa is so huge to the extent that it's not even easy to get those funds locally. Because even when we have money in the system, you might be having money in the bank, you go and the bank will not even get the money for you. Sometimes you need to make certain arrangement with them 3-4 days before you get the bulk cash. So if you want to depend on the local banks to buy cocoa in Ghana, I think that will not work. So they started at 60-40 thing. So it means the off-taker will bring 60% of the money of the volume of cocoa that he wanted to buy. Then he will give the money to Cocoa Board. Then Cocoa Board will give the money to the LBCs that will be buying for that company. So when you buy and send it to Cocoa Board, when Cocoa Board delivers it to them, then they pay the remaining 40%.
Okay.
So that was what we did in 2024-2025 season. 2025 season to 2026 season, that is where we are now. They are using the same procedure, thinking that for now they are even increasing it to 80-20, so that the off-takers will bring 80% of the money
upfront.
Oh yes, upfront, so that when we finish buying it and we deliver to Cocoa Board and they get it, they pay the rest 20%. But what is happening now is, as at December, a lot of these off-takers started to hit the volumes that they need. So some even stopped taking volumes from LBCs. So when you buy, because you don't have any off-taker, you have to give the beans to Cocoa Board. And Cocoa Board is also saying that they don't have any funds sitting there because they didn't get a syndicated loan. So when you bring your produce to them from the farmers, they have to keep it till they get a buyer. At this same point, the price on the world market too has started decreasing seriously.
So now Cocoa Board is buying cocoa beans from you on credit?
On credit.
Instead of paying you before they even pick up. Now they'll say, oh, you bring it. When we get someone to buy,
they will not tell you bring it, but
you have to send it to them.
Yes, you don't have storage facility.
And by law in Ghana, you can't send the cocoa somewhere else. You can't go and sell it to anybody.
Even currently, the prices on our neighboring countries, Ivory Coast and Togo, the price has gone down.
Okay.
So Ghana.
So there's no point taking it.
There's nothing will motivate you to take it there.
So there's a cocoa glut. Is that what it means? We have a cocoa glut.
Yes. So you can't buy cocoa from Ghana 3,600 and send it to Togo or Ivory Coast and sell it around 2,000. Nobody will do that business. So nobody is interested in this smuggling.
So smuggling is not happening.
Last year, you'll be hearing smuggling. This year, you not hear any smuggling.
You are compelled to give to Cocoa Board.
The current price on the world market is about 2,600, 2,800.
And how much is Cocoa Board taking?
And Cocoa Board is buying from farmers 3,628. And if you look at the margin, it's so huge. That is one. Two, there are a lot of costs in the value chain. The LBCs take their margin, and Cocoa Board has to pay the margin. CMC, the storage, they have to pay haulage. All these units and departments within the Cocoa Board value chain, Research Institute, CHED, Cocoa Health Extension Division, all these people has to take their money through this 2,600, 2,800 price on the world market. And what government is trying to do is that they are also trying to keep the price because they don't want to reduce the price, because we don't have any history backing it. That's when prices goes down, we reduce the price. So looking at where we are now, the best thing to do is to reduce the price in our local market so that farmers will receive less than what they are receiving now. But this is a case that government doesn't have the will to do that because they think they bought the cocoa already in that high price. And you can't go and tell the farmer that bring the balance. Nobody will be ready to do that. And they also think that if they reduce the price now, the opposition party will take them on. And for that matter, they are not ready to reduce the price. And they are accumulating the debts because this is coming as a cost, a huge cost. Because if the cocoa price did not appreciate within this short time, it means that governments have to be forced because a lot of off-takers have moved from Ghana. But they said our beans are expensive. And for that matter, they are not ready to buy from Ghana. So when you go to CMC, all their storage facilities are full. Because nobody is taking the cocoa, nobody is buying. And once they are not buying, it means there will be no money. And the current statement that we are hearing from the CEO of Cocoa Board is that they own LBCs about 50 tons of cocoa, 50,000 tons of cocoa, and they are working with the Ministry of Finance, with the minister to be able to release that money to them. But the question is, if you release the 50, what about the live crop beans that we are going to buy? Where are we going to get money to buy that cocoa? Are we going to buy it at 3,620 ACDs? Or we are going to reduce it because it's not sustainable. What government is now doing is not sustainable. There is no way we can sustain it. And it's also difficult for them to reduce it.
It's interesting. You have given me the problem, the diagnosis, and you're even proposing it seems like you know your sector very well, and I'm happy to hear this. A few things. How much are cocoa farmers owed? Do you have a range in total?
In total, according to Cocoa Board, they say 50 metric tons.
In terms of money, I mean,
so when you multiply, is it a ton? Currently, they buy a ton in 58,000 cedis. So you multiply it times number of
by
tons.
50 tons.
Yes.
Okay. And this
50,000 tons.
And there's no indication that, because yesterday the CEO did a press conference.
Yeah.
Did you get a clear indication that your monies will be coming?
Per what he said he's now working with the Ministry of Finance to release those payments. Now, what we are saying, when you look at the sector, Umaru, LBCs have already pre-financed this purchase. So most of them took loans from banks. And looking at the nature of the market, by December ending, we are entering into a light crop because the beans will reduce drastically. So almost the terms of trade, when you take money from bank, you promise them by January you start paying them. So most of these license buying companies are supposed to pay their banks that they took credit from to buy the cocoa from the farmers. So when you pay them, quickly the banks will take their money. So when they take their money, which one are they going to use to pay the cocoa farmers on the field? The next production, the next produce that they will send for sale, where is the money that we are going to buy? Looking at what the CEO is telling us now.
Does this mean that our next production is threatened?
Yes, because there will be no money. There will be no money because there is no
farmers
plan.
will not be motivated.
Looking at what the CEO is saying, there is no plan.
Wow.
Yes,
the situation sounds hopeless.
Yes, the situation sounds hopeless. So, fortunately, yesterday, the leadership of the Cocoa Farmers Union met him one-on-one in his conference room, and he came out with certain things that going forward, he will sit down with the Ministry of Finance and also the cocoa marketing. We have a board that set price, the committee that set price. Yes, so they will meet and look at it, whether they will review the price, because if they don't reduce the price as at now, they have a huge debt to pay, which government has to pay, because the difference between 2,600 to 3,600 is about 1,000 per bag. So if you multiply the number of purchases that you have done times that amount, it's a huge debt on government.
So currently, what is the solution? Go and take a loan and deal with it, or reduce it and forget the opposition. Let them shout, but reduce the price. So which one would you propose?
The best thing that we have to do, you have to reduce the price. But the one that we have already sold, you can't reduce that one. So the new price,
even though the opposition will
yes,
laugh at you.
Price, yes, the new price will take effect from maybe the next season, because that is what our leadership is proposing. That we have already started the season. We all understand.
Will the farmers agree to this reduction?
They will agree. Most of them have been calling. You see, we have been the leaders of the cocoa farmers in Ghana. I'm part of Ghana Civil Society platform for cocoa. So most farmers have been calling us because they are having a lot of issues. Some was have to go to school and there's no money.
And they understand that.
Some understand that the price must be reduced.
So
because
why
government cannot do anything about it.
So government's reason for not reducing is just for political reasons.
That for political reasons.
If we were to go economically,
they have to reduce it long ago, not today.
I see.
For about 2-3 months ago, they have to reduce it.
Honorable, you are from a cocoa growing area. You understand cocoa for a number of reasons, biologically speaking.
I'm not just from a cocoa growing area. I'm a cocoa farmer too.
Oh, good.
Okay. Yes.
The story he has told me, that is an accurate report of the situation.
He has I'll give him about 80%.
Okay, that's very good.
Because he made some of the issues. And I know he's been briefed. Cocoa Board met them and gave them a briefing. So based on the briefing they gave them, that he's reporting. This is not the first time this situation is happening. Except that the last time it happened, the way it was handled, nobody really felt it. So in 2017, the new administration came to office in January 2017. By December 2016, the price of cocoa on the international market was $3,000. 2017, it started dropping. And by then, we were giving the farmers 475 cedis, if he remembers, per bag. So you are giving farmer 475 cedis per bag. The price was 3,000. You take over government, it drops all the way to $1,800. What are you going to do? That was 2017.
You are caught up in the same situation
we have now. Apart from that, in 2016, the then government went to borrow $1.8 billion for syndication to buy 850,000 metric tons of cocoa. By 2017 January, they have spent all the $1.8 billion. But then, like he said, see, cocoa, you buy the main crop and the light crop. So main crop starts from October to around February,
March,
and the light crop will continue. So if by January the 1.8 billion is finished, and you have almost 300,000 tons outstanding, and you bought just 500,000 tons, where are you going to get money to buy the remaining 300,000? Because the contract that you used for syndication was to buy 850,000 metric tons. So the government then was caught in a quagmire that you have to find money and buy the remaining 300,000 tons. Apart from finding money to buy the remaining 300,000 tons, you already have price dropping from $3,000 to $1,800. And because of that, you are taking over an administration. There's no fund in accounts. You just have to go and borrow to buy your $300,000 and also to support the price, the 475, so that you can maintain 475. Even then, the then opposition was pushing that the price should be increased when they knew that the price had dropped to $1,800. So we were caught in the same circumstances.
How did you get out of it?
What is interesting is that up to 2018, so they borrowed. So if you look at a financial report submitted to the board in 2017, they had to go and get a medium-term loan facility from the Bank of Ghana. And then in 2013, Cocoa Board had initiated something called Cocoa Bills to support the industry. So, and that Cocoa Bills had been structured for almost 10 years.
Generated.
Yes. So what they did was to initiate another Cocoa Bill to raise funds to support the industry till a point, because cocoa is a seasonal crop, and as the supply increases or demand increases, prices can move up and down. So what they did was, let's work towards the point where prices go up, then we can clear the debts. They also initiated something called the LID, if you remember, the living income differential. It was something they initiated so that they'll get extra $400 with the buyers. So to get the LID, you have to get the buy-in of Ivory Coast. So they also initiated the Ghana Cote d'Ivoire Cocoa Initiative, where the headquarters is in Ghana, so that Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire can match their prices, and then carry a price to the West, the buyers who buy, so that they can get extra amount above the $1,800. So if you get extra $400 plus Ghana's premium of, let's say, £150, then you are hitting almost $2,600. Then you break even. At least $2,600 can carry you to be able to break even and give the farmer the $475. These were initiatives they took.
So bring in a loan.
Yes.
Go on a cocoa bill.
Yes.
And then have a discussion with your neighbor who is your biggest competitor. Let's agree to fight a union.
The buyers, get the buyers to give us extra money.
Okay.
So these were all initiatives that they did.
You deployed that at the time and it worked?
It worked. It worked.
This time around,
that was how they were able to manage. But then it also came at a cost. Because you were either going to reduce the farmer's price or do all these things.
So reducing farmer's price was not something you could do?
something you could do at the time. It wasn't something you could do at the time, because at that time, Galamsey had reared its head. And people had started selling their farms for Galamsey, because even the 475, people felt it was too small.
So if you don't motivate them, they are going.
They're going to clear all the farms.
Then cocoa will be over.
So that was how these cocoa bills and debts started piling up. That was how it started piling up. Then, unfortunately for us, we ran into COVID. And during COVID, airports are shut down, malls are shut down, supermarkets are shut down. All factories buying cocoa beans are shut down. They are not grinding, no chocolates. So within the period of COVID, people have bought beans, but they are not even accepting. So the beans are kept in warehouses, no shipment. And then right after COVID, when they get back, economic activity is now coming up, going up. The demand for cocoa is low, so prices are still low. So your revenue is still low. Unfortunately for us too, in 2020 we had put something called production enhancement programs, PEPs, the artificial pollination and all these things, and production had increased to about 1 million tons. Cote d'Ivoire production had increased, so the huge volume that came to the market also pushed prices further down. But they managed it all the way. What was interesting was that in 2018, when the LID came and then the market started to stabilize, prices started going up. So there was this optimism that prices were going to go up. And that was when in 2018 they started awarding a lot of cocoa rules here and there. Then 2020 coming, because of COVID, everything came crumbling down. So they had to manage it all the way to 2023. That was when prices started going up. The reason prices started going up was that in 2023, there was an effect called an El Nino effect. It's a weather effect where it sends a dry spell over part of our sub-region. So it affected Ghana and Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast production had hit about 2.6 million tons to 2.8 million tons. As of 2023, Ivory Coast production came all the way to 1.8 million tons, which means they are lost close to 800,000 metric tons. In Ghana, we had hit about 900,000 tons. Least was 850,000 tons. 2023, we dropped all the way to 450,000 metric tons because of the El Nino effect. Any farmer in this country who remembers 2023 will tell you that you go to the farm and you see the beans, the small beans on the tree, and then it starts to dry up and then it falls off.
So climate change.
Yes, it was climate change. But in cocoa trading, the buyer understands that when these things happen, there's a force majeure clause. They understand that this is a force majeure. And internationally, they all knew the El Nino effect had affected Ghana and Ivory Coast, the major producers. So automatically, prices started to shoot up. From the $2,000, it went to $2,002. It started coming all the way. Then it came all the way to about 3,000. Then there were two effects. People were saying, oh, Ghana's cocoa production has fallen. They were bashing the government, even though they knew there was a climate change situation. But then, reversibly, there was the price increase. And then they started shouting, increase farmer prices. So the government then increased the farmer price because there were price increases, and eventually it went to about 1,300, went to 2,000, then it came to 3,001 by 2024. In fact, between the middle of 2024, that was when the price started shooting from $5,000 all the way to $10,000. Middle of 2024. I'm coming. I have my facts. I'm a trader. Between the middle of 2024, it shot all the way to $10,000. Then in a particular day, if you look at what they do is they record daily rates and then average it over the season to determine the seasonal price. So on a particular day, a single day, the price shot to $12,000.
Because of the demand?
Because of the demand and the low production. That particular day, that price shot to $12,000. The opposition then picked the $12,000
and said,
use it for calculation, and said, this is how much you should give farmers. With the Honorable Atuforsin even making a point that Honorable Rikopoku saying that even if you give farmers 6,000, you still have about 3,000 to keep for yourself.
Which was just for one day?
It was just one day. So if you look at the daily publications on routers for cocoa purchase prices, you said it was just one day that the price shot to $12,000. So that is something Ghanaians didn't understand, because they think, oh, price gets to $12,000, it stays there forever. No, it's just a day. And even the $12,000, the buyer is rational. So when the price gets to $12,000, it doesn't mean the buyer will buy. The buyer will not buy. He will wait for it to come down because he doesn't need the cocoa immediately. So we got to that point where we politicized it so much. Then fast forward, the government comes into office. But then in 2023, after the COVID, I've given you a history from 2017, the borrowing and all these things. So in 2023, after the COVID, Cocoa Board decides to go for syndication. So you send out requests for proposals to the banks, the syndicated banks. Then the banks will respond to your requests that they have interest. So the bank sent a response that they have interest, but then the interest rate was so high. The interest rates were so high. So Cocoa Board started negotiating, because you have to agree on the terms before you go out for the roadshow. So they go for a roadshow, they go and do a projection of their production and all those things to the banks, so that all the banks who will come and are interested will now sign an agreement before the syndicated day will come. So they will exchange these agreements over a period before the syndicated day will come, which the Ghanaian media will be made aware. But the back work would have been done already.
Okay.
So the banks, they sent an RFP out, and then the banks responded, but then the interest rates were too high. Cocoa Board negotiated, the banks were not coming in. And then they said necessity is the mother of inventions. Then Cocoa Board management sat and said, even over a long period, we've been wondering, when we come for syndicated loan, do you know that whenever you go for syndicated loan, they give Ghana an award called the Best Borrower? If you go to Cocoa Board, those awards are displayed. Best Borrower, every year, Best Borrower. So the then management said, okay, what is syndication? Syndication simply means that I have my cocoa, I am selling it to Umaru. Umaru says, I won't give you the money now. Go and borrow from my bank.
Buy.
When you borrow from my bank, which is syndication, take the money, go and sort your farmers and your operations. When you ship the cocoa to me, I will credit the account of the banker. That is syndication. But what is the cost to me?
Third-party loan.
Third-party loan. Now, after I am selling my product, but I sell to you, I go and borrow, and eventually I pay interest again to your banker. So I enrich you and your banker.
So I won't do it again.
Exactly. That is syndication. And every year you are paying almost $100 to $150 million on syndication. So the management says, okay, we have been struggling with this, and we go for syndication October, September. The money always comes in December. Then we announce that syndication money has hit BOJ accounts. We sign syndication around October, September. How do we fund cocoa till December when the money hits accounts? That's lacuna, that space. It is the LBCs who buy the cocoa with their own money and deliver the beans to Cocoa Board. Then December, when the money hits accounts, Cocoa Board pays the LBCs. So in the same way, let me take the bank out. From September, October, when we announce the new season, let the LBCs buy the cocoa and deliver to Cocoa Board. By December, I ship it to the buyer. Once bill of lading hits, the buyer should credit me directly, not to the banker.
So direct sale.
Direct sale. So
remove the middle.
That was the arrangement done in 2024. When we decided we won't go for syndication. Initially, even
did you decide you won't go for syndication, or you had no option? The syndicator
no,
said they won't give you.
The interest, no.
Because
that position people say is very political. When you go to Cocoa Board, there's evidence at Cocoa Board that shows that there were this thing from the bankers. There were responses from the bankers.
Yeah, but at a higher interest.
They were ready at a higher interest.
Yeah, but that tells you that things were so bad, so they wouldn't go for.
No, the interest they were giving, we could have gone for it.
Yeah, but that would have been at a worse.
The interest we could have gone for it, but then we felt that paying that amount wasn't good at the time.
Okay.
Because anybody could have gone for it. Today, the government is looking at the options for syndication. Now, Omaru, the system worked perfectly. The new arrangement worked perfectly.
It was limping.
No, it worked perfectly in 2024. A whole year. A whole year, it worked perfectly. There was no interruption. The interruption here is the mode cocoa is traded in Ghana. So in trading, we have forward sales and spot sales.
We do forward sales.
So when any commodity trader, a market can be in contango or backwardation. Contango is when the futures prices are higher than the spot prices, and backwardation is when the futures prices are lower than the spot prices. So today they are in backwardation because the futures price is lower than spots. During our period, what we were doing and what has been happening even during Opuni's period and for a long time is that we will sell about 70% of our cocoa on forward. And then a little, maybe 30 or 20% on spot. Because people come to buy spot when they need cocoa. Then they will buy it today. And you have to deliver it to me when it's emergency. When I don't need it today, I don't have to come and buy. And if you go to the trading platform, you realize that there are March futures markets, July futures markets, and so on. So you can buy the cocoa in advance. Ahead. Any rational trader, when prices are so high, you sell all your cocoa forward. The problem that has been created, you see, in 2024, whilst we were doing the new model, we have sold a lot of the cocoa forward. And even the new administration were chastising the past administration that prices were still going up. So why were you selling some forward?
Hold on for spots.
Hold on for spots. It was something that was said on air. But then cocoa cannot go and stay up there forever. Prices will not stay there. It's just like oil.
So take advantage now.
Take advantage now. And that is why they were able to increase the price. They got the FOB price they got because of the main crop that had been already sold in 2024. When they average it with the light crop,
let's bring it to now. I want us to bring it to the now.
Now, what has
the management?
What is happening is in 2025-2026 season, which is about to start, because we are now in the 2025-2026 season. The 2025-2026 season started from October when they announced the new price. So the past season is already gone. Once you announce a new season, you do not have anything to do with the past season. It means the past season has been successful. So your new season, which is 2025-2026, you start with the new model. But then when you start, instead of selling a lot of forward sales, you are waiting for spots because prices are shooting all the way to $13,000 and you think you can make more money. Whilst waiting for spot and not selling the cocoa, the price starts to decline. That is what has happened. They sat down trying to sell spots and the price has started declining.
So miscalculation.
Miscalculation. The price now declines all the way at a fast speed to $4,000. Today is not 2006. Yesterday I looked at the market. It is $4,000. From $13,000 all the way to $4,000.
So all projections go off year.
Off year. Meanwhile, you are from 2024, 2025 season, you are giving the farmer, 2025 season, you're going to announce a $5,000 price already.
And now you have 4,000.
And now you have 4,000 on your hands.
And even less.
And even less. And apart from that, you have 50,000 tons of cocoa not sold. If you go to Reuters platform, they've reported that Ghana has 50,000 tons of cocoa not sold. The moment you put this out and Reuters publishes it, all traders knows that you are desperate.
They'll hold on.
They'll hold on because it means prices will come down. So today when you go to the platform, you see that the prices are indicating red. It means it's still going down. Because Ghana has 50,000 tons of cocoa not sold. Cocoa which should have sold forward in the last 10 years or 15 years. There's never been a time that we've entered a season that the following year's cocoa has not been sold. Cocoa is always sold forward. So if they have sold the cocoa forward in last year, by now 2026 cocoa would have been sold, then you'll be selling 2027 cocoa. That is the problem that has been created.
What would be the solution? He proposes that the government, and for that matter, Cocoa Board, should reduce the price and explain to farmers that this is the problem we are in and damn the political consequences. Would that work?
He's a farmer. I don't know if his colleague farmers will agree with him.
I'm surprised that he actually made that.
I don't know if his colleague farmers will agree with
yes,
him.
I'm going to ask you this. Are you sure that you want government to reduce, I mean, give you a lower amount? Are you willing to take that?
Yeah, the thing is, it's not farmers willing to take a lower price.
You don't have a choice.
But the thing is, that is what we have at stake.
Are you sure?
And if
cocoa is a political issue.
Yes, it's a political issue.
And it's also your life issue, investment issue.
Yes, the thing is, if government don't go by that, the sector will totally collapse. Because if the price continue to be at where we are now, 4,000 per ton, which is when you convert into cedis, is around 2,500, 2,600 per bag.
So collect what you have while you have it and go.
Yes, it's better that way.
Honorable.
Than for us to say that we still want the 3,600. That the sector cannot sustain it.
Honorable.
For how long will they continue?
Is it an issue of incompetence, or this is a whammy, an unexpected, unforeseeable, or you think that they ought to have foreseen and dealt with this?
They should have seen it coming.
So they should have prevented it.
They should have prevented it. They should have seen it coming. And I think it's also part of the politicization.
Okay.
You see, in 2024, they were so vociferous about the forest sales and sports sales. It became a topical issue in this country that cocoa should be sold on spot, not forward.
Okay.
And because of that, they are caught in that web.
Okay.
And that's why. And apart from that, you know, even at this Cocoa Board itself, there is a political struggle between the CMC head and the main board, which is the Randiabi head. The CMC guys feel they are an autonomy on their own, but you are a subsidiary of Cocoa Board. So a CMC director, for many years, anybody who understands Cocoa Board knows that CMC directors are picked from internal people who understand the job are put there. This time around, they bring somebody from outside to head it. The person comes, Randy Abe had already promoted somebody who was internally to head the division. The person comes and then the internal person is sacked, is removed from there. The internal person was one of their best traders. And then the person comes and thinks those in the trading room have allegiance or loyalty to the person who has been sent off. So he transferred a lot of the good guys out. Then Randy Abe realized that he's going to get a problem because the guys with the brain power have been sent out. So Randy then calls them to come back. And when they are coming back, some of them feel, well, I've been embarrassed because the way the Emana some were sacked from their offices, it was so shameful. So they decide they won't come back.
So boardroom wranglings.
Boardroom wranglings.
So there's a bigger. Neil Ante van der Poel, what has Randy Abe told you? Is it that he's a great communicator, but when it comes to managing cocoa, on whoso?
Let me first say this. I am not really into that sector. Okay. So I'm not strengthened to have much knowledge. Basically depends on what I've heard from the farmers and from the Cocoa Board. So I'll try to handle this matter based upon information that I've acquired and my own common sense pedestrian analysis. I'm happy Michael has analyzed critically. There's one thing. As a governance person, there's one thing that I saw from his analysis. Failure to take decision meant to address a problem you encounter in management. because of external noises. You understand? I've been a minister before. I faced problems. I faced a situation. Let me give you a situation which you are very familiar with. In 2014, we had qualified for the World Cup. We qualified for the Cup of Nations. We had 2 games to spare. I had other disciplines like the amputees, like other black queens, and having competitions to play. Meanwhile, our budget had been exhausted. Then the Black Stars had a match. Then with, I think it was Uganda or something, or Rwanda.
And it was a free match?
It was a match that we qualified. The result would not have any bearing on our qualification. So I was faced with a problem. Do I spend almost $590,000
for that contest,
for that match, which of no consequence,
or send the money
or
to the
use that money to take care of the other disciplines? You understand? It's not easy to tamper with football issues in this country. But after briefing with my president, we took the decision that no foreign player will play this match. We're picking players from our local league to represent the national team.
So to reduce cost?
To reduce cost.
After all, you don't need anything.
You understand? There are 2 types of management. Proactive management style or the cow dung management method. The cow dung management method is trying to make the surface clean, make things clean because you don't want people dancing from behind to... But then beneath, it's all mess. And that was the sort of management style which was adopted previously from his analysis.
So window dressing?
Yes, because of things Eric Opoku was saying, Atufosun was saying, so decisions that we had to take in order to salvage the sinking cocoa board at the time, we didn't take. Once you do that, you have not only satisfied the political whims and caprices, you have actually made the country worse off. And that is not why people are elected. People are elected to solve problems in the interest of the people.
Take bold decisions.
Take bold decisions.
Okay.
And when you swear the oath, what you should look at is what is in the interest of the public good, and not political good. And that is where we are. Failure of Kenofurata at that time, who was in charge of Cocoa Board, because they moved cocoa from agric to finance.
No, that's wrong.
How?
It was rather finance to agric, and now they are moving it. There's a bill that they are moving it from agric
to finance. Okay.
Is cocoa not currently with finance?
They've now moved it to finance.
Finance has been moved to finance. Yes, it's moved to finance. So what I'm saying here is that, you see, one of the main issues, and Michael will accept it, which affected. Michael will accept it. I know.
I know you are saying last year. Then last year they should have increased the price.
No, Michael. Let me say this.
Say Honorable Michael.
Oh, he can say Michael. He's my father.
That's my son-in-law.
He's my in-law. Once a former MP, he's still.
I disagree with your father-in-law.
When we are as members of parliament, we can call ourselves the first name.
Yes, it's right.
But when you are not, someone like you can't call me by my first name.
Yes, he's still honorable.
I can call you Ni as a journalist. I'm calling you Ni as a journalist, not as
accepted.
Accepted. Yes,
okay. You understand? Let me say this. In 2021, for example, at the time government announced that they were paying 3,100 to the farmers.
That was 2024.
No, the market price at that time was 9,000. Was 9,000.
Which market price? What are you talking about?
The average market price. I was talking about the cost of outside, international.
No. 2020 had not been $9,000.
2024.
No, 2024.
2024.
That's as a latter part of 2024.
Yeah, 2024. Yeah. You see, 9,000 per ton. It was when he mentioned day by day.
Yeah.
When you do the day by day, it was between 12,000 and 9,000, 12,000.
From December 2023, you are buying cocoa.
Yes.
So it comes to 2024.
And I'm saying
2024, from the time it got to that point, you have already started selling on forward.
Yes. So what I'm saying that even when you strike the average at that time, will come around 8,000. Between the 9,000 and 12,000.
That is if you are picking the spots at the time.
Thank you.
So when you were selling on forward from 2020, end of 2023, you already selling 2024.
My problem here is that was the reason why people like Eric and the rest were making those.
Last year.
Allow him to land so that.
I just wanted to give you information. Last year, if they had sold 2026 cocoa forward in last year, they sold 2025. We are talking about 2026. If they are sold 2026 cocoa forward,
last year they sold 530,000
in this web this year, because you already had sold your cocoa in advance, and you know that this year, even when prices have dropped, you have money that you are going to use to.
And even if it goes high, okay.
Last year, cocoa was sold 530,000.
That is last year's production. I'm talking about 2026 production. You know, the current situation now is 2026 is going to affect.
Right now, they've bought almost 580,000.
No, so we are now going into light crop. Light crop is insignificant. Light crop beans are light. The beans will not even come. Just about 50,000. But then you have a huge chunk of 2026 cocoa that you have to go and buy.
Still sitting.
And your price is around 5,000 tons, and the price has dropped to 4,000. And now you have to come down. But if you have sold 2026 forward last year, you wouldn't have that problem.
A lot of the problems we are encountering today.
Yeah, when you call me Moro again.
Oh, sorry, Sanda. Umaru. You know, it's so flexible when you are Moro. You know, in 2017, for example,
yes,
when they started the issue of the cocoa bills were loans, so it goes with interest. It continued for 3 years, up to 2021. You understand? Then the trouble started because DDEP was declared. When the DDEP was declared, the bonds of almost 2 billion cedis were due to be paid in September 2025. Check the budget of 2024.
Okay.
There was virtually no allocation for the payment of this debt.
You have said that what we have now is management indecision from the previous managers.
Yes.
Now we have a new management around.
Yes.
They are faced with this problem. Like you had the Black Queens, Black Stars problem. Randy Abe is watching you. You used to go on his show. Now he's supposed to manage our cocoa affairs. What management decision would you want to take?
He has proposed some solutions. It is for all of us to interrogate those solutions. And I'm happy the cocoa farmer here has actually said, or he has supported one of the solutions.
He proposes something that may make you look politically bad. Would you buy that? That you should reduce the cost to the farmers?
You see, managing a country is not about political convenience.
But you need that for votes.
Yes, but the issue is that when you see one of
especially
the problems,
when you have bad
one of the problems the former cocoa board management did not handle well is their communication.
Oh, because this
please,
but they were louder.
They say Eric Opoku was louder
today, the things you are telling me.
Yeah.
Did they tell the public that time?
They were saying, but no one was listening.
You see, so
the propaganda machinery was loud.
It means that your communication style was bad.
It was working.
Your communication style was not working. Because I didn't know. I was in parliament.
Okay.
I didn't know. Sitting here, it is clear.
It's convinced
you see, today, Randy has been proactive because he's now come to all of us. He's put a problem before us. These are the national problems. But he's not solving it alone. He has proposed ideas to solve this problem. But he needs to communicate with you so that you can buy into it.
So he's been in charge for 1 year.
But the problems we have, it's not a problem that you can be resolved in a year.
Oh, no.
It's not a problem that you can be resolved in a year. I'm happy Mike said, oh no. It's not a problem you can resolve in a year. All of us have to put our political cloaks aside and look at this issue because cocoa is the blood of this country. Look, for example, he's proposing that we look at our selling price, which my brother here...
Selling price, which you yourself brought on yourself, that we should go to 6,000, then you increase to 3,000.
So you are falling on your own dagger.
No, it's estimation and speculation. And if the you yourself use force majeure. If the circumstances of the time has made it almost impossible for us to go by that price, we should as a country accept and say, look, this is the price that will make us competitive.
Akufo-Addo brought haircuts. People say, oh, it's patriotism, we are helping fix the country. Akufo-Addo brought haircuts. People say, oh, it's patriotism, we are helping fix the country. If it didn't work at the time, it can't work now.
Look, you see, he's proposing government subsidy. For example, he's proposing government subsidy. You and I here, we want to sit there and ask, at this point in time, with economic difficulties we have, will subsidies solve the problem? Because subsidies will also lead to under-recoveries. A lot. As we have faced in the power industry, power sector for long. A lot of the problems we have in the power sector was as a result of under-recoveries. And now we are looking at cocoa. Should we subsidize the price to make the farmer happy, but then have the effect on our economy?
Okay.
Is this something we want to do? And then final thing, he's also looking at deregulation. Is it going to help? The farmers and the stakeholders must all of us must sit down and interrogate it. I'm happy Michael sitting here as a finance committee, eh?
No, energy.
Parliament. You are an energy?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Look, these are proposals. Parliament, we should put our politics aside and look at the interest of the cocoa farmer, the interest of the country, and see whether these good proposals that the Randy is proposing today, I won't even say Randy, Cocoa Board is proposing today, will help us be able to salvage the cocoa industry and also help us maintain the economy.
Would you agree that they should go for a loan to just deal with this matter now? Quick loan.
You see, if the issue is just going to be this year, and you go for a loan, then you can project that even when I go for a loan today, I can pay over a period and I will survey the situation. But if the situation is said that the price, we are not guaranteed that the international price will be going up again from tomorrow,
then there's no point.
Then there is no point.
Let me go to Franklin Kojo. He's joining us via Zoom. Franklin Kojo, I've not heard you all morning. Good morning and welcome. The cocoa board matter, the issue of the cocoa farmer and how we should deal with it, it's a finance matter. And I'll be coming to Dr. Donfe later because he also has a point on that.
Hi. Oh, so good morning. Good morning to see your beautiful face, Sanda.
Franklin, you are calling. You are saying beautiful face. Be careful, though. Be careful.
Yeah, no, don't worry. Good morning to my good friends in the studio. Honorable, good to see you. The two honorables, by the way. Nilante, Ofano Ojegbalo, and everybody else. You know, cocoa is an interesting subject. I don't know, and Michael seems to have done a good job about this particular subject. About cocoa. Look, you know, ever since we decided that we're going to introduce this, what we call the, for lack of a better term, a term that many people will recognize immediately, the price floor below which a particular product is not supposed to be sold. I'm referring here to the likes of oil, and then the price ceiling. These historical accounts of cocoa politics, I like to call it, have always been, more or less hobbled between this whole idea of a state intervention, trying to, intervene so that when prices are so bad, then the farmer gets, supported, something they call income stabilization. I've forgotten those terms, but just to say that the governments after government seems to have been well intentioned to do these kinds of things. Unfortunately, along the way, cocoa has become such a cash cow that it's become some sort of cannon fodder for all kinds of malfeasance when it comes to managing the cocoa sector. And I wouldn't begin to list the litany of sins successive governments have committed. But clearly speaking, something is pointing to some change that must happen. Any product that obviously relies on, I suspect that most products really rely on the volatility of the market, right? So market forces actually play a role. The problem is that as governments decide that they may want to intervene so that when prices are okay, when prices are too high, they sort of still give farmers some sort of, should I call it, comfort. And at the same time, when it's low, they sort of shepherd them. The challenge always has been the cocoa board itself, the institution itself. I think when there are seasons of plenty, when cocoa is doing quite well, that's when they actually spend a lot more. In fact, we did the profitability analysis of Cocoa Board for during the last administrations, and they were very, very kind, by the way. Joseph Edu, Riankra, they gave us unaudited accounts, right? We did all that extrapolation, and we realized that, and we came back with feedback and told them, look, Cocoa Board cannot survive if it continues spending the way if it continues the way it's structured, right? Administratively, the expenditure is just way out of sync, out of touch with reality. So for me, the way I see
so it's a state company. So it's the management of a state company, like a typical state company. That's what you have a problem with. I'm sure I can see that's where you're headed.
That's always, but well, it is actually the major problem. You see, if it is the case that not people are well intentioned, but the fact of the matter is that cocoa is also politics, right? Look at the politics we are discussing about cocoa right now. I mean, if cocoa prices, if the price the government is going to offer right now is taken by the farmer, or the opposition come back and say, well, you couldn't even help them, you couldn't even show up the prices, because presumably, if you have a board of sensitive people who really knew how to manage affairs beyond the fact that they are a state entity, successively, by the way, I don't think we would have had any problems. But you see, I'm not saying this is not a call on Randy's, should I call it tenor, as in lack of leadership or not. This has been the tradition. This has been the DNA of Cocoa Board. This is the way it's been managed. So while he walks into a problem, and he sees, and he'll tell you that, look, if I could even solve some of the carnage that I came to meet. The millions of jute bags or whatever that are imported that nobody wants to claim ownership of, the sort of contract that are signed all over the place with all procurement shenanigans. He can tell you that I could save about probably maybe 5 billion cities, 4 billion cities, and I use it to cushion these farmers. But the point I'm trying to make is that the way we set up Cocoa Board and the way we see it as a cash cow eventually makes it difficult for people to understand that even when cocoa market prices are falling globally, we should share some sort of tears for them. It doesn't work that way.
Frankly, Nilante makes the point about management. So there's a new manager. Yeah. You have come. Cocoa Board has already lots of issues. Can't you take drastic steps and change things?
Well, if I tell you what, if the drastic step that Cocoa Board must actually, if Randy were to be bullish and then go ahead and say that, look, I'm really going to restructure this place, damn the consequences, there are political issues to be faced there. But if he could downsize the Cocoa Board strategically, and I wish I could, well, I mean, we have some conversations where we'll probably continue on this, but I mean, if I were in that position and I was given the leeway politically, I'll downsize Cocoa Board immediately and then restructure most of the interventions they make towards farmers. Sometimes farmers know what they want better. Okay. I mean, look, I'm of the libertarian trait. I really want people to own their resources. Yes, government should help them sell their cocoa outside. But I had deregulation not long ago on this same subject, right? I think Neil and mentioned deregulation, right? Yeah. But we need to start deregulating, and deregulation here would mean that, look, give the power back to farmers. Farmers must form cooperatives and decide to sell to whoever they want to sell. And maybe the country then decides that, look, we'll also take a little premium and make sure that we downsize the whole Cocoa Board structure. Because trust me, you go back and do the profitability analysis, you still see that a chunk of Cocoa Board's problem is it's an administrative behemoth which exists. So it takes so much, it sucks so much blood of the system, you know. And so
there's these allegations of the purchase of V8 and all of those things it's all part of the allegations that have been made. So running the Cocoa Board itself.
See, those things always, of course, they will always be there. I mean, once you plan certain administrative expenses and all of that, but those things have to be actually looked at again. Is it the case that they needed new, or there are existing ones that they could have? That's another insidious behavior within certain enterprise that we have to check. Very Sometimes when old secretaries are leaving, or there's a cycle that they try to procure, not auction cars, sometimes so cheap, and then we have to now spend more money buying new ones. It's something we need to confront it. cocoa board behemoth. I mean, and if you give me that opportunity, I'll downsize it to a third of its size.
I'll tell President Mahama when he returns from Zambia that Franklin Kujo is lobbying to be CEO of Cocoa Board.
Oh, no. We're having a conversation.
I know, I get you. Don't mind me. It's my other mischief that just jumped out. Thank you, Franklin Kujo. Let's speak to Dr. Donfe. Doc, you have, okay, so I want you to put these two things together for me. We're talking about inflation doing so well, but you have also made the point that the issue of Cocoa Board is actually an exchange rate issue. Can you explain what you mean? Dr. Donfe? Do I have Dr. Donfe on the line?
Yeah, you have
yes.
me.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you very much.
You have said that the current Cocoa Board issue is an exchange rate issue. Can you explain?
So let me thank you for another opportunity to be part of the discussion. And let me say, my co-panelists in the studio, they've done justice to the discussion. I've loved it. I've learned a lot. I'm also not an expert in the area, just like my senior, Nilante Honorable, said. Yeah, but I also come from a cocoa growing area, and I have that interest. I wish we could do something about it. I was talking about Kwame Nkrumah, and I meant it. If our Nkrumah's policies, had worked, today we wouldn't be talking about Cocoa Board having to sell cocoa outside Ghana. I mean, not so long ago, I was trying to check the contribution of cocoa to the global GDP of about $114 trillion. And I realized that cocoa is doing about 115 billion. Cocoa is contributing to the global GDP of about 113 trillion, 115 billion US dollars. And if you look at Ghana's situation today, Ghana contributes, around 20% to the global beans. Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire together, almost about 70. But if you look at US economy, you see that every year cocoa contributes over $20 billion to US. Belgium about 14 billion, Switzerland about 13 billion. And we are just producing raw things. We sell to them, they buy them cheaply, and then we go out there to buy chocolate and bring them here. I mean, I think this thing must stop. And these are some of the reasons why I love Kwame Nkrumah. His how bold he was to say, hey, Jack, let's use what we have to get what we want. And that was trying to use our natural resources, to get us what we wanted. Unfortunately, governments that have followed are so comfortable with selling everything in raw form instead of taking steps to build factories. And that is why 2023, when I heard that the biggest chocolate food factory in Africa had been built in Ghana, I was so excited. These are some of the reasons why somebody like Nana Akufo-Addo, I love him so much, and if that is what people misconstrue as me being founder of NPP, I love it.
Dr. Donfe, you can't laugh Kwame Nkrumah and also laugh JB Dankwa's descendant. Which one are you? I'm wondering, are you Kotoro Mojo or what's the truth? Motoro Mojo, what are you?
No, I have a policy, and I do know that no one is excellent. And it doesn't matter how bad you are, there's something good about you that we need to always tap in. It doesn't matter how good you are, there's also something, Nanso, I can't say Nanso, you also have something with you that people don't like, right? And I don't have an enemy. I try to, when I meet you, and I try to learn from you. If what you tell me, hello. So can I go to the exchange rate?
Wait, Franklin Kujo has just intervened. Franklin, what's your problem?
Dr. Donfe is a good friend of mine, actually. We bantered a bit, but it's a nice guy.
Franklin, how are you?
I could be better, thank you. I could be better, thank you. Right, go ahead.
Yeah. So
now, Dr. Donfe, connect the exchange rate bit for me because we have to go. Is it the case that CD is doing so well and cocoa farmers are struggling? Is that the reason?
So CD has a bit of issue to do with what is happening. At the time Nana Akufo-Addo was hesitant, a bag of cocoa was 3,100 cedis. At that time, $1 was going for 14 cedis, 70 pesos. Now a new government, when BOG started pumping so much dollar into the secondary forest, we got up and CD was $1 was going for 10 CDs, 30 pesos. And today I think it still hangs around 10 CDs, around 11 CDs. That is very excellent. But the moment CD does so well, then immediately, as soon as CD picked up the strength from 14.7 to $1 to 10.3, one bag of cocoa that was being sold at 3,100 should automatically drop to 2,172. Your CD has become so, let me say the value has gone up. And so when the value has gone up, what 3,100 Kuba drawing and Kufa time, if everything is held constant, then 2,172 should be able to buy it, for which reason government should have, it doesn't matter the international situation and whatever situation, the price should have immediately gone down to 2,172. So if you are not buying it at 2,172 and you buy it at any price higher than 2,172 as a government, it means that you are in for trouble.
Doc,
so that is the exchange rate.
Doc, a question. So you are buying into the view from my panelists in studio that the government should close its eyes and reduce the amount that it gives to the cocoa farmers, and based on the CD stabilization and so on, it will be a reasonable price to give to the farmer.
Yeah, it will be if you want to go market, you go full market.
Okay.
And so what is happening is a market issue. CD has gained so much value, and when you were selling a bag of cocoa at 3 CDs, I'm 3,100. $1 was going for 14 CDs, 70 pesos. Today, $1 hovers around 11 CDs.
And the nominal figures will make political. There will be political outcry. The figure would be seen on the face of it to be like you have reduced it. That's what it will be like, and the opposition can go to town.
And that is, so if the reduction is really real and it is affecting all economic indicators, then for example, a bag of rice that was being sold at 15 cedis should also drop to 10 cedis. Jordan first salary 15,000 should drop to 10,000.
Should government then go to town and do the Kalabule thing and ask people to reduce prices? Because listen, when we came, we reduced inflation. Inflation is now 3%. We've reduced the city's depreciation. So please do the rolling thing. Send soldiers to the market and control price.
Unfortunately, no. Government, this economy is a small market, small open market economy. Government cannot do that. So that's why all these things that we see, the value of the CD and all those things should be real, so that when it happens here, it affects A, and A goes to affect B, B goes to affect D, and that's how we can enjoy the stability. But if it happens that the stability is only in the pockets of the importers, then it becomes a problem to the cocoa farmer. You can't reduce it to 2,100. And so a lot of things are happening, and in economics we have what we call transmission mechanism. Anytime you have a policy, sometimes certain things they will be exciting, or we've done this, without looking at the negatives. And one of the negatives that comes along with the exchange rate stability that we are currently enjoying is the cocoa. And so even if the world market had been held at where it was at the time this government came to power, they will still struggle to pay the farmers.
I have a question.
Because of what we are, because they still sell the cocoa in dollars. They bring the dollar here. And today, instead of exchanging $1 for 14 cedis, 70 pesos it was last year, this time you are exchanging it for 10 cedis, maybe 90 or 80 pesos. And so there is a reduction. And that cost goes to the government.
Doc, we don't have a lot of time, but before I let you leave us, just a quick one. This whole problem we are seeing in the cocoa sector is going to have a consequence on our general economy, wouldn't it? Is it going to be bad for us if the government doesn't get out of this world?
Yeah, it does, because cocoa contributes a lot in terms of revenue, household revenue. It does a lot. And so we need quick solution for it. But I have said that we have to also think about, now government is talking about make Ghana as part of the 24-hour economy. I would propose that we go to that sector and we try to put up encourage the private sector. I don't believe in the state leading the process, but we can encourage the private sector to put up huge chocolate factories almost everywhere in Ghana. So when we begin, and they will open the market, so factory owners could go directly to the buyers to buy the beans from them. When we get to that situation, Ghana government is even going to get so mad because, as I told you, currently cocoa is contributing $115 billion to the global economy.
Thank you.
We get the 20% of that. That is about 22 billion, and 22 billion is 88% of our total budget, which means that cocoa alone has a hope of leading Ghana to where we want to be.
Thank you, Dr. Dr. Joy Domfe is an economist and senior lecturer at the University of Ghana. Thank you so much, Doc. Frankly, if you're on the line, 1 minute, he has given us a long-term solution, produce chocolate factory, private sector, and all of that. You buy into that, of course, as a private sector person.
Oh, without a doubt. And I think there were moves during Mills's time to establish a number of companies came, Cargill and a few others that we worked with at the time. They came in, but I don't think we sustained the process. But a few private individuals had niche markets, not just in Ghana, but outside. But that's a lot of cocoa. And I think if the state is well-intentioned, they may have to do a lot more. I mean, look, but don't forget, you still fight. They still have the big guys fighting you. They start saying that cocoa process under the sun and under our conditions are not the best, which we have to fight. Those are called the phytosanitary conditions. But I think we should add value. But beyond value, we should restructure the system we have right now that sells cocoa out of the country.
Thank you so much, Franklin Kojo, President of Imani Africa. Nilante, 1 minute, and then I'll take 1 minute each from all of you.
Let me say I'm impressed with the discussions we've had, a very nationalistic discussion. And value addition in the cocoa sector is something that all of us have talked about. I was privileged as a Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry to visit the cocoa processing factory in Takoradi.
Wamko?
No, the one that is owned by this young Ghanaian lady, daughter of Poco Transport. You know, is it Plot? Yes, Plot. It's a wonderful place. I was privileged to have gone to Cote d'Ivoire to also see what we have there. It is not. But like Franklin is saying, when you start, exactly what Kwame Nkrumah faced. When Kwame Nkrumah started building the refineries and all value addition industries and things, the West saw him as a threat because they want to continue taking our raw materials, adding value to it, and then reselling it to us. I'm sure what we started with gold will have problems in the next few years because then we are stopping the profitability and the overbearing profits some people are making out on our backs. So the cocoa industry should be looked at. If we're going to have this volatility, then let's see how we can put up industries to add value to it so that we'll rather be selling the finished product. In fact, the West African market alone will be able to take our cocoa when we add value to it and we can make profit out of it.
We have Valentine's Day coming, chocolate and all of those things, so we can actually do that because we made Valentine's Day a chocolate day and yet we can't produce our own chocolate. Thank you, Nilante van der Poel, former MP Orodio drip coordinator. Farmer,
Yeah. So there is one issue that is currently affecting cocoa production in Ghana that we also need to look at it. When it comes to Eastern region, most of the cocoa growing area are Achims and partly Kwewus. And you might be having a farm and somebody will take a drone, capture the land, go and register, and the next day the land is being sold to Galamseyers. These are things that our chiefs are doing to our own people. And cocoas that have been planted by Cocoa Board for rehabilitation, that they took a loan, that loan is there for Cocoa Board to go and pay. A rehabilitation farm in Enuma Pepem, the land have been turned into a Galamsey site because the process how this our land commission people have been registering land recently, if we don't take proper care, it will create a lot of problem for us in the future. Because I can come and I can use drone to capture your land. Make any document, take it to land commission, there will be no check and balance, and they will register the land in your name.
And then
so by the point the landowner, yes, you go, and most of these cocoa farmers are not having money to have.
So this is a production issue that you are actually being. So even if we are not careful, then the cocoa itself won't have some.
So one day, if you are not careful, and we don't deal with our land commission people, because there is no way somebody brings just a document, want to register a land, you don't do any investigation, you don't even come and see whether the person really owns the land or not, then you just register the thing.
Thank
because
you.
most
Then
cocoa
they
farms,
clear the farm.
the farmers don't have
So
land
the Galamsees
title to
go
the
in.
land.
Yes.
You don't, because farming land, you don't have title to it.
We don't have title.
Thank you, Francis.
So they are
Tenor.
taking advantage.
Thank you, Francis. Honorable, conclude for me.
So, from what he's saying, what I know is that with the land administration laws, if someone has a crop like cocoa on a farm, you cannot go in and do mining unless you've agreed. It's illegal to even cut down cocoa to do mining, unless all of you have agreed at certain rates. But what people are doing now is they channel bad water from the Galamsey into your farm. So that when the bad water enters the farm, then the cocoa trees will die naturally.
Then you'll
be forced to sell to them.
Wickedness.
And then, apart from that, the rehabilitated farms that they are doing, you know, they have to cut the dead cocoa trees and then replant. So you cut the dead cocoa tree, the virus is still in the tree, so you have to apply arboricide and all those things, so that kills the virus. After cocoa board has done all those things, replanted the seedlings, now it's not a matured cocoa tree, so they go and pass behind with circumvent the law with some chiefs. They go and register, and by the time you realize Mineral Commission gives approval, the place becomes a mining zone, and then they are mining. So all these things are going now. The things affecting cocoa, one CSSVD disease, and then mining, they are affecting cocoa. But then I would say that the current issues that are happening, the management should just sit up, because last year I remember the finance minister brought out a communique when they announced the new price. The government was going to issue out free fertilizer. An industry that you think is struggling. Why would you change a policy where you are subsidizing fertilizer to now give the fertilizer out for free? These are all questions that you need.
So go back to what it was.
Exactly.
Very well.
Because at least you recover some of the money. In 2024, fertilizer that was given out, they were able, even with the subsidies, the farmers were not paying, but they were able to recover at least about 100 million.
So don't make it free. This is not the time to give free when you are already struggling.
Thank
you so much, Honourable Member of Parliament for Ofori Krom, or rather I should say Member of Parliament for Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. I am Umar Sandamado. This has been The Big Issue on Channel 1 Television and on 97.3 CTFM. We'll be back next Saturday with more. Please stay with us.
Every day, across Ghana, stories unfold. Stories of hope, struggle,